On the contrary, guess how many Pro Bowls those 5 have combined for?
I think it's zero. Yeah, zero. Yes.
Not one. And ironically, the one who has had the best NFL career was Ted Ginn Jr.
Yes.
Who a lot of Dolphins fans would tell you they hated that pick. Well, so again, this is not to say that Jalen Waddle is going to be like one of those guys. It's just to say that the recent history is not there for a 5'11", 180-pound guy or 5'10", 180-pound guy to be drafted that early.
But on the flip side, to be fair, there are receivers that are effective at that size that were drafted after the first round. Correct?
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnsideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep. Download the Radio.net app and listen to Onside Radio and every Inter Miami CF game. OnsideRadio.com, your home for Inter Miami soccer.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, website, or Inter Miami Marketing, LLC. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yes! Oh, it is. It is! Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Oh, I'm Alex Donno, and I'm with you guys here on OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting live inside the beautiful Drive Pink Stadium here in Fort Lauderdale. Looking at those pink, black, gray, and white seats. Calling my name for this coming Saturday. I'm looking out at blue skies. I see the Fort Lauderdale skyline kissing the horizon off into the distance. By the way, I want to remind everybody that this coming Saturday, May 29th, 8 p.m., we're going to have full capacity allowed here into Drive Pink Stadium for the first time ever when Inter Miami take on DC United. Now, we all know Inter Miami need to do a lot better than they did on Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, whatever it was. I don't know, 6 o'clock. Is that evening or afternoon? I'm going to make a ruling and say that's evening. I think anything after 5, I would consider, it's not night. I wouldn't consider it night or afternoon. I'm going to go evening, the 6 o'clock kickoff that we had on Saturday. So they've got to do a lot better, do Inter Miami, than that 1-0 really, really, really ugly loss that they had in Chicago on Saturday. But there's something I know about the supporters and the fans of this club, talking about Inter Miami CF. Hell or high water, They show up, they're enthusiastic, they're singing, they're setting off flares and those smoke thingy-majigs that we set off with the pink and black smoke that people love. They're drumming out there. Despite the fact that Inter Miami had a really tough performance, I know the fans are going to bring it strong. And for the first time in the history of this club and this stadium, we will have full capacity, over 18,000 strong here at Dry Pink Stadium. And it's going to be fantastic. Inter Miami's L over the weekend, one of the many things that we're going to cover on today's show. We, outside of the Marlins, we took nothing but L's over the weekend. In the 3 o'clock hour, 3:35 p.m., we're going to talk with our good friend George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com. Panthers 6-2. They were embarrassed on Saturday at the Tampa Bay Lightning to go down 3-1 in the series. They've been so badly embarrassed from a goaltending standpoint. Bob, bad. Drieger, bad. Looks like we're turning to the kid tonight. It looks like we're turning to 20-year-old Spencer Knight tonight. Spencer Knight rises. That's where we've gotten to. And it's no disrespect against Knight. I mean, he came on late in the regular season, got a few chances to play, went 4-0-0. That's really good. But it's not playoff hockey. So we're going to learn a lot about Spencer Knight, assuming he's the guy who gets the start this evening. George Richards from Florida Hockey Now is going to join us later on this hour, 3:35 p.m. In the 4 o'clock hour, we'll talk about what the Miami Heat need to do differently tonight, what adjustments need to be made. Giancarlo Navas from Miami Heat Beat, G, is going to join us at 4:20. In the 5 o'clock hour, 5 o'clock sharp, we're going to talk with Alex Windley from MLS Multiplex. She covers Inter Miami. We'll talk about the hard times for IMCF on Saturday and how we can get this team going again, man, because this coming Saturday, you don't want to let the home fans down. You want to let everyone know, hey, we appreciate you. The 11 players on the pitch plus up to 5 substitutes are going to show these fans we are going to leave everything on that home pitch on Saturday, and we're not going to let our home fans down, because this past Saturday aside, where they were bad, really, really bad at Soldier Field, overall, they've actually been better on the road than they've been at home this year. Inter Miami have not been a good home team to start the season. Hopefully we can change that this coming Saturday. So Alex Windley's going to join us at 5 to talk some Inter Miami. Giancarlo Navas is going to join us at 4:20 to talk some Miami Heat. And George Richards is going to join us at 3:35 to talk some Florida Panthers. We also have our winners and losers of the busy sports weekend. And believe it or not, even though, like I mentioned, a lot of our teams took L's over the weekend, I still yet somehow found a way to shift the balance in favor of positivity. I think the final count is 4 winners and 3 losers from the sports weekend. I wasn't overall, honestly, discouraged despite the result to what I saw from the Miami Heat on Saturday afternoon. Despite the fact that your 2 best players, who we knew these guys are going to have to be great to win games. Like I said that before the series started, I said, hey, we kind of take for granted the idea that if we're going to get past Milwaukee, in this best of 7 series, Bam and Jimmy are going to have to be elite. We need those guys to show up. Neither of those guys, with one exception, but neither of those guys really showed up on Saturday. Jimmy Butler shoots 4 for 22 from the floor, 2 for 9 from 3. Why is he taking that many threes? That's a big thing. Why is Jimmy spotting up from the three-point line that often? You want to hit a couple of clutch threes, fine. You should not be attempting 9 3-pointers if you're Jimmy. No. 4 for 22 for Jimmy, 4 for 15 from Bam. They combined to go 8 for 37. And yet still, we lose it by 2 in overtime. That's pretty encouraging to me, honestly. That's really encouraging to me. And, unlike the Florida Panthers, who, they lost their game 1 in the series. That was on home ice. The Heat lost their first game in Milwaukee, so home court has not yet been affected by it. You still have a chance to steal home court if you can get a Game 2 victory tonight. Now, I know that there's some ebb and flow to this, right? Because Jimmy and Bam were both brutal from the floor, yet I don't know if you can consistently expect Duncan Robinson, who was exquisitely good, and Goran Dragic, who was incredible off the bench. The 2 of them carried you. Goran and Duncan carried the Miami Heat on Saturday. So I don't know if you can expect those two guys to be as great as they were in Game 1, but I can certainly expect Jimmy and Bam to be better in Game 2. So I'm still feeling pretty good about the Miami Heat, despite the fact that they let one slip away on Saturday. Now, I got to address the elephant in the room here for everyone who watched that Game 1, whether you're a Heat fan or you're not. Bam Adebayo let us down. Bam Adebayo failed us on Saturday. He was the single biggest reason why the Miami Heat lost that game. I mentioned both Bam and Jimmy were putrid shooting, but at least with Jimmy Butler, he makes that clutch layup to force overtime. So Jimmy contributed something seismic to that game. Like Jimmy Butler, when it mattered most, he stepped up and hit a shot that gave you a chance to win the game in OT. That was a clutch moment. That was a big moment. He's going to need more moments like that if the Heat are going to take some games in this series and potentially win the series. What exactly did Bam Adebayo do for me on Saturday? I'll tell you what he did. He settled for a bunch of bad looks and didn't attack the rim, and it's disgusting watching that because I know what this guy is capable of. I know what he's capable of. I thought Ira Winderman made an incredible point. I was listening to Ira and Ethan on Inside the Paint this morning, and I read all of Ira's post-game pieces after Saturday, and Ira said it best that, too often we watch Bam Adebayo playing a lot more like Chris Bosh when he should really be playing like Alonzo Mourning. And, hey, there's nothing wrong with patterning your game after either of those players because at the end of the day, they're both Hall of Famers. But the difference is Chris Bosh played the way that he played as a floor spacer in Miami because that's what fit best with the personnel. That you needed a big man floor spacer when you had people like Dwayne Wade and LaFraud James cutting to the rim. Chris Bosh playing the way he played was by design, and that was the best fit for the team. But when it comes to the personnel of this 2021 Miami Heat, and you've got a player with no ceiling, as we say. That's the nickname for Bam Adebayo, right? No ceiling. I think the only ceiling we're seeing for this guy is a mental ceiling because there's no physical ceiling. Like, this guy is capable of taking over, being aggressive, and dominate games. But we see it about as often as we see Haley's Comet. Like, it just doesn't come around with Bam Adebayo. And, he's heard everything that was said. Hell, even Goran Dragic called him out after the game. Like, and a call out is a strong word. Like, it's not like Goran said anything, nasty. But Goran was critical in the most polite Goran Dragic way possible. I feel like he needs to be more aggressive, Goran said. I'm not saying to take that mid-range shot to take it away. No. But he's got to have the ability to put the ball on floor and be more physical and try to challenge them at rim. That's what Goran said. That is the most polite way any man can criticize another human being. Goran has that charming Slovenian accent. Goran is very polite. This guy's a great leader. But Goran put it out there on Front Street. Bam Adebayo needs to be more aggressive. Don't settle for the mid-ranger too often. Obviously, Bam is pretty good at that shot. But when you have the ability to put the ball on the floor, go to the rim, challenge them at the rim, you've got to do it. It's the playoffs, baby. Okay, game 57 of the regular season, if you're settling for some jumpers, and you've got like a 4-game lead in the standings or something, and, the NBA regular season gets very tiring. But when you're talking about playoffs where every game has that must-win type of feel to it, Bam Adebayo needs to be a Terminator. And I don't like the way that Bam talked after the game. I need some more self-awareness, my dude. I want you to admit, you know what? I wasn't aggressive enough tonight. I was way too passive. I mean, Mahatma Gandhi was more aggressive than Bam Adebayo was on Saturday. I need Bam Adebayo to say something different than, quote, I just missed shots. I just got to make the shots. I didn't make shots today. That's not the right attitude. I mean, of course you have to make shots. When you're 4 for 15 from the floor, of course you have to make more shots. But you need to actually attack the rim, try and put that clown Brook Lopez in foul trouble. He picked up his 5th foul eventually, but that was really late in the game. Try to get that dude in foul trouble. You need to be aggressive. You need to go to the rim. Don't want any more excuses. Because if the Heat don't win tonight, they're in trouble. I think they can win, and I think they will win tonight. But if they don't win, we're going to be having the same conversations about the Miami Heat that we were having about the Florida Panthers after the first 2 games, right? I mean, you have to come back, right? And now, as far as this evening goes, again, I have a lot more faith in Eric Spoelstra, Coach Spo, than I have in Coach Booty, Mike Budenholzer, to be able to make adjustments, because obviously the onus is on Spo to make adjustments and counterpunch after, you got knocked down in game 1. It's Eric Spoelstra's the pressure is on Spo tonight to mix it up, do things a little bit differently, and try and take game 2, whereas Budenholzer may become complacent. I don't know what's going to happen there, but to me, it's got to start with Adebayo. Jimmy needs to be better, absolutely, and I don't doubt Jimmy. Like, I don't doubt that Jimmy's going to bounce back and have a much better game, too. I think that that's just in his DNA. Like, this is a guy we know is going to be Terminator. He's going to take over. With Bam, I doubt it a little bit more because it's once in a blue moon when this guy is actually aggressive. And at least for Jimmy in game 1, he stepped up and had that game-tying layup to force the game to overtime, whereas Bam did not make a clutch impact in that game. Somebody I'm super impressed with, and I mentioned it, and it's not that I expect him to play as well as he did on Saturday for, 5, 6, 7 games, however long this series goes. Super impressed with Duncan Robinson. I mean, there were points where his clutch threes and his difficult threes, his long-range threes, were keeping the Heat alive in that game. Duncan, routinely over the past couple of months, has been making me eat my words. I mean, how many times we do all these roundtable questions? We do one every day on Onside Radio. We're going to have one today, but it's Panthers-related, not Heat-related. But how many times have we had these roundtable topics, and I've talked about how, I don't want to be in the Duncan Robin business, not at $20 million a year, right? That I think the Heat can look elsewhere. I don't think he's worth the massive contract, the big wages that he's going to command as a restricted free agent. I'm more than happy to admit when I'm wrong. I'm not one of those people. There's a lot of these blowhards in sports radio, the Mike Francesas, Hank Goldberg back in the day, Hank Goldberg that would never admit that their opinion changed on something or that they were wrong. Like, they would just dig that trench and die in it if that's what it took, okay? For me, if my opinion changes or my opinion evolves, I will tell you. It seems like every big game that I see Duncan Robinson stepping up, I'm saying, you know what? I thought $20 million was a terrible freaking idea a couple of months ago. Now $20 million is starting to look like a bargain if he can keep playing games the way that he's playing. Now, I may have been wrong about Duncan Robinson. I was not wrong about Goran Dragic because I've told you guys repeatedly that you forget how impactful Goran can be in the playoffs because he's showing his age a little bit this year, hasn't been healthy, he's taken more maintenance time, he's had nagging injury issues. If Goran, who looked really healthy on Saturday, can stay healthy and stay right and stay fit in the playoffs, you're going to see more games like you saw from him on Saturday, that Goran is capable of taking over. And something happens, like something sparks in Goran. It's like the Khaleesi is out in the distance saying, Dracarys, because he turns on the flames when this guy's going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, Goran was tremendous. In the series against the Bucks last year, Goran was the second leading scorer behind Jimmy Butler in a Miami Heat uniform. I mean, he was fantastic in that series against the Bucks last year. So let's not forget how important Goran Dragic is to this team and in this playoff series. And it would not surprise me if he keeps stepping up. I was right about Goran. I think I was wrong about Duncan Robinson. But I'm happy to be wrong in a good way, okay? So the Heat fall in Game 1. You got Game 2 tonight, 7:30 p.m. in Milwaukee, the Sausage Factory, sausage and cheese, whatever they have. Sausage, cheese, and beer. You know what? That doesn't sound like a terrible town. Like, I make fun of Milwaukee, but I'm thinking, okay, what is Milwaukee famous for? Sausage? I love sausage. Cheese? I like cheese. Beer? Oh, I love beer. Milwaukee sounds like a great town, although I think the weather sucks up there. How many Alex Aguirre is with us, of course, riding shotgun as always. You're a South Florida resident, Miami boy like myself. Like, how much winter gear do you own? Because if I were to take an extended trip to somewhere like Milwaukee, I would have to invest in a lot of coats. I have one coat and a couple of hoodies. I don't have a whole lot for the winter.
I have a lot of long sleeves.
That's not going to help you in Milwaukee.
Yeah, exactly. I have one leather jacket that I've had for years that, like, you know, those can last forever. But that's what I take with me for, like, trips for, like, in the winter and stuff.
Nice.
And, like, a couple of, you know, like, probably a couple of jackets all in all. Maybe, like, no more than a handful. And then, but that's for what I wear. I actually do collect, though, the starter jackets, the old starter jackets.
Oh, okay.
I rarely wear those, though, because I don't want them to get, like, damaged in, like, you know, rain,
It's
snow,
collector's
stuff like
items, yeah.
I wear the Marlins one once in a while, like the old 93 one that I have. But like for like to actually wear, like if I'm actually living in the winter, I probably don't only have no more than a handful of jackets. I probably wouldn't make it through, like, living in Milwaukee or like in Minnesota or something like that. Oh gosh, it's like Minnesota's bad.
Speaking of Minnesota, anyone who follows me on Twitter can tell I am obsessed with this Mighty Ducks show on Disney Plus. Gordon Bombay, he's a living legend. He's not actually real. He's a fictional character. But the job that Emilio Estevez does, reprising that character, he deserves every Emmy. Like, it's so fantastic what Emilio Estevez is doing, reviving a character that we haven't seen on screen in damn near 30 years. Like, I get all the feels. When I'm watching that Mighty Ducks show, some of those kids are annoying as hell, but I think that's just that generation. Like, I'm turning into that old guy who thinks the kids are so annoying. Like, you know, like the fat goalie kid keeps whining about his cell phone. Like, that kid's annoying to me. Like, get outside and enjoy your life a little bit. Some of the girls, like, they're always having these, like, little catty fights. And the main kid, oh, my God, the main kid, he actually goes and has a tryout with the Ducks team that had cut him at the beginning of the series. Have some self-respect. Like, to me, like, they should have cut him from the team. I don't care that his mom is the coach. Like, that kid, no self-respect whatsoever. No pride whatsoever. I mean, he got humiliated by that Ducks coach with the great hair. And I don't know how that dude is, like, coaching when he looks like he's 19 years old. It's really weird, like, the casting. Because, like, the guy who's coaching the Ducks looks like he barely graduated high school. Like, it's very odd, the casting for that one. But that dude cuts this kid from the team. That's the whole reason why his, like, overprotective mother forms this new team, the Don't Bothers. They hook up with Gordon Bombay. You know, it's become the team of misfits, and they're growing together. Gordon's helping these guys train. Gordon Bombay is an incredible man, incredible human being. And this ungrateful douche kid, after all that his mother and Gordon Bombay and all of his friends have done for him, he gets an invitation by the 19-year-old Ducks coach with the great hair, who's clearly only doing this to try and destabilize the Ducks to get in their heads, invites this kid who he cut because he wasn't good enough, told the kid don't bother, cuts him at the beginning of the series, then he invites this kid to a tryout, and the kid actually shows up. Like, I nearly stopped watching the series, that episode. I was so disappointed in that kid. But listen, he's learning, he's growing, I'm learning with the series. But Emilio Estevez keeps me, and I am obsessed with the job that he's doing in that show. All right, when we come back, we're going to sound off on our winners and losers from the sports weekend here on Onside Radio. This is the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Listen to OnsideRadio.com anywhere by downloading the MyTuner Radio app in your app store. Or go to MyTunerRadio.com on your web browser. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida sports leader. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. at OnsideRadio.com. We chirp all day and night. It's time to do some more chirping with David Dwork at our Chirping the Cats report.
It's do or die time for the Panthers as they face playoff elimination for the first time on Monday night. The Cats enter Game 5 of their best-of-7 series against Tampa Bay, trailing 3-1 after getting throttled in Game 4 by a score of 6-2. Both games in Tampa were rough on the Panthers' goaltenders, and in both games, the goalie who started the game for Florida is not the one who finished. Whoever ends up in the Panthers' crease for Game 5 is going to have to be better if the team is going to have a shot at coming back in the series. Through the first 4 games, the Lightning have put up a ridiculous 19 goals, or just under 5 per game. A big part of Tampa's offense has come in the power play, where they are converting at a nearly 50% success rate. The Panthers will have to find a way to slow down the Bolts when they're on the man advantage, or just do a better job of staying out of the penalty box. Game 5 from the BB&T Center, which has increased capacity to nearly 75%, will get started at 8 o'clock.
Keep up with the latest on the Florida Panthers by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio, your home for South Florida sports.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
In about 12 minutes, we're going to get some insight on the Florida Panthers with our buddy George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com. Looks like Spencer Knight going to get the start in the Panthers net. I love how Coach Q is still coy about it. Like, you know, when you're in practice, you have a starter's net, and then you got the other net, right? But it's clear which one is the starter's net. And when Spencer Knight is in the starter's net, it's clear as day he's starting tonight. And Coach Q is still like, I can't commit to it. I'll give him a pass because he's won Stanley Cups and he's got a great mustache. Like, I'll give him a pass for a couple of reasons. But still, like, Q, you don't have to be that coy. We can all see Knight is in the starting goaltender's net. Not a big mystery, okay? And so before we talk to George Richards, one of my favorite parts of a Monday show, it was a busy weekend. A lot of our teams were in action. Let's go through our winners and losers from the sports weekend.
Let's check out the winners and losers from this past week with Alex Donno. Winners and losers.
So despite all the bad, I still shift the balance towards positivity, okay? We have 4 winners and 3 losers. First winner, not a big golf guy, you know that, but still, I was impressed as hell with Phil Mickelson. Lefty wins the PGA Championship at 50 years old. Could have joined the senior tour. No. Becomes the oldest major champion in golf history. Well done, Phil. And, you know, the scenes of the fans and everybody celebrating with him, that was really, really special. It was really cool to see what Phil Mickelson did. Very, very impressive. Second winner, all of the crypto traders who didn't sell at a loss during the dip because we've been on a pretty massive dip. We're climbing back up. We've been on a really massive dip over the past week. Do you have diamond hands? I hope so, because Bitcoin and every altcoin took a massive dip in recent days. Anyone who panicked and sold their crypto at a loss made a huge mistake, man. It's already bouncing back. It's going to bounce back. You got to treat this like a long-term investment because here's what's happening, folks. A lot of the dummies who freaked out and sold their crypto when Bitcoin was at 30,000, what are they going to do? They're going to be buying back in at 60,000, hoping it's going to hit 100. So you're wasting your money if you sell low and buy high. You have to ride the dips. Buy the dips. But if you can't afford to buy the dips, at least ride the dips, man. So everyone who did ride the dip, everyone who held on for dear life and even bought the dip, kudos to you. You guys are winners. The next winner. This was so cool. Trae Young, first career playoff game. He silenced all of Madison Square Garden. Young hits the game-winning three for the Hawks against the Knicks. Then he shushes the crowd, including Spike Lee. And this was pretty amazing what Trae Young had to say after the game.
You know, you've been in the biggest stages. I mean, when you're in the zone and everybody's chanting F you. I don't know if any of y'all had that, but I've had it a couple times. I had it in college, and I had it again tonight. So, I mean, it got real quiet at the end. And for me, I wanted to hear those FU chants again.
By the way,
you know, you've been in the biggest stages.
How classless are Knicks fans that they're chanting "F you" to Trae Young? He shut all those losers up. Like Knicks fans, you should just be happy you're in the playoffs. Like don't expect to win the series. Don't expect to win a single game because your franchise is worthless. But just be happy you're back in the playoffs. Trae Young, huge winner for that game-winning shot and the soundbite. The next winner will stay NBA related. I like this a lot. Shaquille O'Neal. So they have a lot of fun on that TNT set. I love the vibe that they have. Shaquille O'Neal caught Charles Barkley sleeping during the first half of the Wizards 76ers game, and he called him out here on national television.
Well, I actually thought they did a good job on Bill and Westbrook. They played really good defense.
Ernie, sorry to interrupt. I know snitches get stitches, but he was not watching the game. And I have proof. I'm just saying.
Who?
You. You weren't watching the game at all. Look at him, Ernie. He was not watching the game. So do not go to him.
That must have been during a commercial break. That was doing it to be.
Sleep
nights, young man.
Look at him, Kenny. Ernie, don't ask him about
And then he
can buy me in the club. Bottle full of blow.
No. So from what you were able to see in the first half, what'd you think?
I was a little tired today, Ernie. I shot a commercial all day yesterday in the sun, so I'm a little.
So what you didn't hear, obviously, you could see on the screen was Shaq. He actually took a photo on his phone of Charles sleeping in the studio during that Wizards 76ers game, and then Shaq, he did snitch. He gave the photo to the production crew, and they flashed it on the screen. I thought that was really funny, man. All right, so those are the winners. We'll get on to the losers, okay? And this is going to be a good segue for the conversation we're going to have with George Richards in a few minutes. The losers, Bob and Drieger. Both of the Florida Panthers' veteran goaltenders have struggled. They've helped us get into a 3-1 hole in this series. The Panthers, guys, this is so bad. The Panthers in the first 4 games of this series have given up 19 goals to Tampa Bay. 19 goals in 4 games. That's almost 5 goals per game. It's horrific. It's been so bad for both Bob and Drieger, especially Bob, mind you, the $10 million man, that now tonight we likely have to roll the dice on a 20-year-old to try and get something and win Game 5. So Sergei Bobrovsky, and listen, I know that there have been some defensive mistakes. There have been a lot of breakaways for Tampa Bay, but still, the percentages on breakaways do still favor the goalie, and Bob has been beaten on 3 breakaways out of 3 breakaway attempts. He's been scored on every single time. It's not good enough. It is not good enough. Bob and Drieger have both let us down, man. The next loser, all South Florida sports fans except for Alex Aguirre because his Marlins actually won on Saturday and Sunday. But the rest of us on Saturday took a trio of L's from the Panthers in the early afternoon, the Heat in the mid-afternoon, Inter Miami in the late afternoon, who unfortunately for Inter Miami, I love that team, but they played their worst game of the season in that loss to Chicago. I could use a hug right now, if I'm being honest. Next loser. This is actually our final loser of the day. And this really annoys me. Loser, the NBA. They should have suspended LeBron James over the weekend. They didn't have the balls. You heard about what LeBron did. LeBron James blatantly violated the COVID protocol to attend his little tequila event with Drake. And the NBA knew about this. They commented on it, but they conveniently decided that LeBron James is above the rules. The NBA did not suspend him just because he's LeBron, and they're hypocrites, okay? This is the same NBA that won't take a stand against China's human rights violations, even though they have no problem taking a stand against social justice in this country. And I'm fine with that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. But they stand up for social injustice here while they turn a blind eye to China because they make so many billions of dollars in China, and they know that the Chinese government would shut them down the second they say anything. Whereas in America, America's a free country, right? So they're free to criticize social injustice, as they should in this country. Again, I support that. Speaking up against social injustice in America is great, but the NBA has no problem doing that because it's convenient, because they're not going to get shut down because America is a magical free country and you can criticize America. But the second they criticize China, oh no, China's going to shut down the NBA. They're going to lose all that revenue. They're cowards, they're hypocrites, and they won't suspend LeBron for the same reason. If that was any other player, now maybe Anthony Davis not either, but if that's, the 3rd through 15th Los Angeles Laker and they do what LeBron did, violating the COVID protocol, they get suspended. But they don't do it to LeBron James because they don't have the balls and because they're hypocrites, and it annoys the hell out of me. LeBron James is an ineligible player. So karma is real, and karma's a bitch. And that's why the Lakers lost Game 1 99-90 to the Suns. So at the end of the day, it didn't even matter that the NBA allowed him to play, though he should have been suspended. And like at that tequila event he was at, supposedly they had this like big photo op there. And supposedly the photo op was like only open for, people who could prove they're vaccinated. But like LeBron won't even admit if he's vaccinated or not. Like we have no clue because LeBron doesn't think that's something he should publicly speak on. He's a hypocrite and the NBA are hypocrites. I digress. We'll talk some Florida Panthers, some NHL with our good buddy George Richards from Florida Hockey Now when we come back. You are listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. We are OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Listen to every Inter-Miami CF match on your home for La Rosa Negra, OnSideRadio.com. Catch us every day on the MyTuner Radio app. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
Big O, Tito is not allowed in the Boom Boom Room. Never seen Smokey and the Bandit. Never seen Top Gun. What's the matter with these kids? Look at that. Now you can't hang out with Salma, Paige, Sophia. See, now you can't hang out with the ladies because you have not seen Top Gun.
Yeah, I would just hope that, like I said, the Boom Boom Room is sanitized. I would hope.
Well, I don't know, but did you hear about the 81-person orgy?
No.
What is wrong with you?
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnSideRadio.com.
Join the Inter-Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With with an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Over the weekend, the Florida Panthers lost to the Lightning 6-2. The Panthers are now on the brink of elimination tonight. And with both goalies struggling, who will Coach Q place in net? Game 5 is tonight. Puck drops at 8 p.m. The Miami Heat lost 109-107 on a late overtime jumper by Chris Middleton on Saturday to go down 1-0 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Goran Dragic led the Heat with 25 points. Game 2 tips off tonight at 7:30. The Miami Marlins won the weekend series with the Mets after a 5-1 win yesterday. Cody Poteet got the win, pitching 7 shutout innings. The Marlins welcomed the Phillies to Lone Depot Park. Trevor Rogers is on the mound for your Fish. First pitch is at 7:10. Inter Miami CF lost to the Chicago Fire FC 1-0 on Saturday. Next Saturday, they welcome DC United and a full capacity crowd to Drive Pink Stadium for an 8 p.m. start. Phil Mickelson wins at the PGA Championship at the age of 50. And you're listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station. And coming up is more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here at OnsideRadio.com.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Tonight, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to help the Florida Panthers win. Blood sacrifice, personal humiliation, whatever I have to do to bring the team some good luck. I'm ready, man, because I don't want to go down in 5, and I don't want the team to go down on their home ice in front of extra fans because they've even increased capacity from 50% to 75% for this game. So I at least want the fans to be able to enjoy tonight. I'm going to enjoy the next 12 to 15 minutes or so because we have on our good buddy George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com. George, 3-1 is not somewhere we wanted to be. How are you doing, sir? I hope you're doing better than these Panthers are doing right now.
Well, problem is I've only got 11 minutes to spare, so sorry, man.
Fair enough. Actually, I think we have exactly 11 minutes left in this segment, so that works out pretty well, to be completely honest. Oh, man. So, okay, first things first for tonight. Spencer Knight was in the starting net in practice. You know, I guess Coach Q would not commit to it 100%, but it's pretty obvious Knight gets the start tonight, right? Or am I wrong about that?
No, it does look that way. I mean, just by going by, what happened the last 2 days in practice, it does look like it's Spencer Knight. I mean, it could be Chris Drieger, unless Q is really messing with us. The only person it looks like it's not is Sergei Bobrovsky. So with all the work that he did, I just don't see him, starting. Starting goalies just don't do the kind of stuff that Bob was doing today.
Wow. And just like, how disappointing is that in the big picture, George? Because, everyone talks about, Bob's contract, and it is a real thing because Drieger's not going to be here next year. So I don't know what your expectation was before this series started, but how disappointed should we be about what we've gotten from Bob?
Listen, in the last game, that first period, he should have had the one save. The other 2 goals he couldn't stop. Those weren't his fault. The power play goal to make it 4-1, not his fault. That was a wide open shot. He was playing the puck. The fifth one, he was done. He gave nothing on that one. You could just tell they had to change goalies. But he won you. He helped win you game 3. Coming in to replace Chris Drieger after he gave up 5 in the second. But at the end of the day, he's your guy. I mean, he's the guy that you need to be the number one goalie, and, you just can't count on that right now. And that's, I think, the disappointing part for the Panthers.
Now, as far as Spencer goes, if it is Spencer Knight in the net this evening, obviously starting a 20-year-old with very limited experience, it would be a roll of the dice. But on the other hand, it's like, George, this to me does not seem like the type of kid who's going to let the moment be too big for him. Like, you think about what he did winning a gold medal in the World Junior Championships, what he did at Boston College. Now, maybe the NHL playoffs might be a different animal, but Spencer Knight, like, one thing I don't worry about with him is, nerves getting the better of him. Like, I can't guarantee he has a great start in net, but I don't think the moment's going to be too big for him tonight.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I think that's the thing they're looking at. The kid is mature beyond his years. This is totally different, though. This is the biggest thing he's ever done. And I don't, he played the World Juniors. Who cares? I mean, it was the World Juniors in an empty arena, an amateur tournament against kids his own age. Now he's going against the defending Cup champions with that incredible power play. He's going to have to be on his game, like A-plus game, to get the Panthers a win. But so would Driedge and Bob. So you're putting your faith in a kid that it's got, it seems like nerves of steel. Maybe doesn't appreciate the moment he's been put in. Sometimes they say, that young kids just don't understand that kind of thing. And maybe that's true. But what have you got to lose? What's he going to do? Give up 5 goals in a period? Well, that's already been done by a Panther goalie. Is he going to give up 5 goals in the first 28 minutes of a game? Well, Bob just did that. So, it can't get any worse, right?
You're right about that. And obviously, if the Panthers are going to extend this series, not only do they need goaltending, they're going to need to score as well. And, in a big game like this at home, you want, your big-time players to carry you. Jonathan Huberdeau has really been tremendous in these playoffs. And Barkov needs to be big. But, George, how healthy do you think Barkov is right now?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think he took that hit. And he missed the entire first period after that hit in game 3, in Tampa. And he just hasn't looked himself. He's playing the minutes, and everybody says he's okay, but I think something's wrong. But we'll see what happens tonight.
As far as the tone of this series, I know that Tampa Bay's coach John Cooper was he seemed pretty upset about, the Panthers maybe trying to make this a little bit too chippy and taking some cheap shots. And he's basically saying that the Panthers are like trying to kind of devolve it into something other than a hockey game. And Coach Q took exception to that. But from your perspective, how do you view this? Because obviously this has been a really physical series. And that even goes back to the end of the regular season, because these two teams faced each other for the final 2 games before the playoff series even started. I mean, do you think the Panthers have been kind of walking a fine line between being physical and being a bit cheap?
Yeah, but so is Tampa Bay, and I think that's where the exception is being called. I mean, and John Cooper did say, "Hey, listen, we're not angels out there," and so he knows. But that's playing the refs a little bit. That's getting your message out there. He was talking to reporters on a Zoom call, but those comments were aimed at other people, and those were the officials. Those were the NHL front offices. No suspensions, nothing were handed down from the NHL after that game. The Panthers were playing a little chippy. There's no doubt about it, but so's Tampa Bay. They've been doing the same thing. And the one thing that really drew me and I wrote about this on Sunday, was John Cooper, was getting mad at a reporter for asking him about, the emotions and all that. And then the reporter was actually trying to lead him into the Panthers are a bunch of goons. And he goes, well, how did it start? Like, the Panthers started all this. No, the Lightning started. You had a boarding call.
Yes.
They're up 5-1. They're up 5-1, and Pat Maroon boards Frank Vetrano in the corner, face first into the dasher boards. That's where it started, because the Panthers are done. They're down 5-1, and all of a sudden you've got a guy, throwing one of their guys face first into the boards, which was, why are you doing that up 5-1? And you want to know where it started? Right there.
Amen. Oh, George Richards is throwing fastballs out here. And George, I have become public enemy number one for a lot of Tampa Bay Lightning fans on social media, because I don't waste any opportunity to point out that they're $17 million over the salary cap, and I take a lot of cheap shots at them. And so I've had a lot of Lightning fans in my mentions talking about how, the Panthers are irrelevant and what thugs they are on the ice. And a lot of Tampa Bay fans are absolutely livid about the hook away from the play that Anthony Duclair put on Nikita Kucherov in the last game, because he did hobble out, apparently injured. But the thing is, for me, and yeah, George, I'll admit that was a cheap shot. I mean, it was not a hockey play, that hooking, but at the same time, that didn't look malicious enough that he was intending to injure somebody. How did you feel about that play?
Nah, that was just him, giving him a little jab.
That's all it was. Listen, he's fragile enough to get hurt from that, but that was just a little jab.
Yeah, I don't think Anthony Duclair expected him to go down like he was shot by a sniper. I mean, I know you're a big soccer fan, but, we've seen that, that kind of thing before. And listen, both guys are playing tonight. Shocker. They're both playing tonight. So, I think there's a little gamesmanship perhaps there too.
Well said here. George Richards, FloridaHockeyNow.com. So, George, I've said it about a couple games this series, but there's no denying this is a must-win tonight for the Florida Panthers, because this is win or you're done. This is win or you start to make your tee times in golf this coming weekend. What has to happen tonight? How do you need to see the Panthers start this game to think we can win this one?
Well, they need to get off to a start like they did in Game 4. I mean, they dominated that first period and found themselves down 3-1. They need to tighten up defensively. They can't let people camp out in front of the net like they did in front of Bob in Game 4. They just need to come out and come out with the attack that they had. They've had the entire series, I think, except for, in Game 2 when Tampa Bay completely bottled Florida up. Florida's been the aggressor in this series. Florida's been the better team for a large chunk of these games, and they're down 3-1 in the series. If Florida comes out playing like they normally do, and they're throwing everything up at Vasilevsky, and they've got guys like Patrick Hornquist getting in front of the net. We saw him get that power play goal in Game 3 to get them going in the third period. If they can do that again, get those kind of goals, get the kind of goals Tampa got in Game 4, I think Florida will be all right.
Really good stuff here, as always, from George Richards. That's where you follow him on Twitter, at George Richards, and check out his work at the excellent website, FloridaHockeyNow.com. Check that out. George, thank you so much, man, and enjoy Game 5 tonight.
All right, Donno. Thanks, bud.
Good stuff there. And, yeah, again, listen, there's going to be about 14,000 at the arena tonight, the BB&T Center. They've expanded from 50% capacity to 75% capacity. So it's going to be loud. It's going to be super loud. I mean, at 50%, the place sounded tremendous, the noise. So at 75%, no excuse not to win this game. The crowd's going to be behind you. They're going to be loud. They're going to be rowdy. I hope there's not too many Tampa Bay fans in the building. Keep those losers out. Don't even let them in. How a lot of people want it so that you have to have one of those vaccine passports to get into a game. To get into the game tonight, you have to prove you're not a Tampa Bay fan. I don't want, you have to have a Florida Panthers passport. You have to have a Florida Panthers related tattoo or you have to have like proven you've spent more than like $100 on Florida Panthers gear, because a Lightning fan in disguise probably wouldn't have. Like, you need to come with receipts. You need to come with body art. Like, if you have Stanley C. Panther tattooed on your chest, you're admitted. If you can prove you have spent money on Panthers gear, you are admitted. If you see anyone wearing any Tampa Bay Lightning paraphernalia, kick their asses out onto the street. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear from them tonight. I don't want to hear from their stupid $17 million over-the-cap team. We're going to wrap up the 3 o'clock hour when we come back. I'm going to sit down at the round table, which is Florida Panthers related after this. Hey, Saturdays from 1 to 3 p.m., baseball fans can go deep into the count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase. Catch the show that talks Marlins and all the big stories in the major leagues. Every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m., Seamheads have a new home, so listen to Deep Into the Count exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnSideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnSideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Hey, it's Toast, and when I got PGT custom windows and doors installed at my house last year from B&T Windows and Doors, I knew that I was protecting my house when it came to hurricanes, but I was also investing in my house. My value went up. My home insurance cost went down. Yeah, I can now get more for my house when I sell it because I have PGT custom windows and doors installed courtesy of my buddies at B&T Windows and Doors. Just another reason why you should upgrade your house today. Give them a call, 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126, B&T Windows and Doors.
You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Thanks again to George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com for joining us. Got deuces tonight. Got a pair of big playoff games this evening. Heat and Bucks, Game 2. That'll be at 7:30. Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning, Game 5. That's going to be at 8 o'clock tonight. So I'm going to have to do like a split screen type of deal this evening. Although, like, it obviously it depends on how both games are going. Like, if the Panthers are, like, in it, winning or competitive, I'm probably going to prioritize the Panthers game a little bit more since it's win or go home. But, like, if the Panthers, if it's a debacle like Saturday and they're down like 2 or 3 goals early, then I focus on the Heat. Like, we'll see how it plays out tonight, man. We'll step into the roundtable. You know, all of our hosts, we address this roundtable question from Toast in the morning, Kai, Big O. Of course, Big O is on the mend. He's going to be back later this week after having his little procedure. He's doing well, by the way. I've been texting with him a lot. I saw him Saturday. He came out to our watch party. Like, he's got to speak like in sign language because he's resting his throat after getting that polyp removed. But he's doing really, really well. He's going to be back on the hot seat later this week. But I'm going to step into the roundtable here. Stephen D, Miami Sports Music, will later. After the Florida Panthers failed to capture Game 4, they fell to 3-1 in the best of the 7 series. They fell down 3-1, I should say, in the best of 7 series. Young goalie Spencer Knight got practice time in the Panthers' starters net on Sunday. Should Coach Q start the youngster with the season on the line? Is it the right move? Before Game 4, I went on record saying it. I didn't think it was the right move. I wouldn't do it because it reeks of desperation, right? When you've got a veteran with proven playoff success like Bobrovsky, and you've got a guy like Drieger who's not a veteran to the level of Bob, but you consider him a veteran compared to Spencer Knight, who's done well this year. To me, to turn to the 20-year-old with barely any NHL experience, that's desperation. I didn't like it. I wasn't for it. But then Saturday happened, my friends, and we've seen now for the better part of 4 games, Bob has been terrible. Drieger has been brutal. And at this point, when you're talking about a meritocracy, because that's what Coach Q is trying to run here, right? Starts are earned, not given, okay? Bob has not earned a Game 5 start. Drieger has not earned a Game 5 start. I had a conversation with our pal the other day. We talk a lot of hockey off the air because we're close friends, Dave DeWork and I. Dave, who hosts Chirping the Cats Radio. We had a conversation about the Panthers yesterday, and, this was right after I saw that Spencer Knight was in the starter's net in practice. And, I asked Dave, I'm like, is Coach Q really going to do this? Is he really going to turn to Spencer Knight? And Dave said, yeah, I really think he is. And then I asked him, do you think that's the right move? That sounds like desperation to me. And what he told me was, this is a fantastic line. If you're going to get into a gunfight, don't leave that gunfight with any bullets left in your clip. That's the situation Coach Q is in right now. You have tried Drieger plenty. It's been bad. You've given Bob plenty of chances. He's been bad, okay? At this point, Spencer Knight, who, just turned 20 a couple of months ago, barely any NHL experience. Now, he is in the NHL 4-0-0. That's a good record. He's been pretty good, the limited chances he's gotten in the Florida Panthers net. But you're going to have some regrets if you start Drieger or Bob tonight and they get shelled the way they've been getting shelled throughout this series. You're going to come out of that, and Coach Q is going to be able to ask himself this question, and every member of the media will ask him, do you regret not giving Spencer Knight a chance because the other goalies were so bad? And, I'm sure Coach Q at the end of the day, he's going to struggle to sleep at night if he doesn't give Spencer Knight an opportunity. He's going to say, you know what? The veterans we had out there were so brutal, I should have given the kid a shot. Maybe he could have given us a spark. So it sounds to me like, and I don't know this with 100% certainty because Coach Q is trying to play it close to the vest, right? Like he had Spencer Knight in the starter's crease, but then he's also been messing with the media because at one point today he had the goaltending coach, Rob Tallis, come out and was in the starter's net. So he's trying to screw with us a little bit, okay? But I think Knight is going to get the shot. And I think it's the right call. I think you try everything. You exhaust all of your options. Because at the end of the day, it's not like Bob or Drieger have proven they deserve to start tonight. I think the gamble is worth taking. I think he starts Spencer tonight, and I think that's the right call. 4 o'clock hour coming up. Now, we got to play something that happened on live television today, and you tell me, do you think that the person whose business was aired out on live TV knew the situation? I want to get into that when we come back. Is this a publicity stunt, or was this really a behind-the-scenes moment captured on live TV today? Hey, Florida Panthers fans have a place to call home. Every Saturday morning as Cats insider David Dwork hosts Chirping the Cats Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Onside Radio is committed to all sports, and Panthers fans can now connect every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. with David Dwork on the home for Panthers fans worldwide, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnsideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Donno for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, website, or Inter Miami Marketing, LLC. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 4 o'clock hour of Man of the Match here on Onside Radio. Alex Donno taking you guys up until 6 o'clock here tonight. We're going to take you up until Miami Sports Music for the fans with our guy Steven Daniels doing his thing from 6 until 7 o'clock this evening. We got Alex and Nordy running the show, doing awesome work here. So something kind of crazy happened today on live TV on Fox Sports 1's Undisputed. Now, sometimes I have my tinfoil hat on. And what happened today on Undisputed, it really seemed like it was spontaneous. It really sounded like a party who was brought live on the air did not know he was live on the air. But you know me, I have to wonder if it was set up to sound that way. Because here's the thing. Fox Sports 1, some of their shows can be kind of entertaining, but you notice, you have Cowherd who rambles like a crazy person, trying to get headlines. He says, the craziest shit he can possibly say to try and go viral. I'm not going to say Skip Bayless does that because he's on Fox Sports 1 because he's always done that, but he's always trolling. It's they're desperate because Fox Sports 1, they don't have the reach, they don't have the brand identity that ESPN has, and yet they're trying to compete with ESPN. And so sometimes you have to wonder when they do something outlandish like what happened today. And I know our guy Rafa in Miami, who's in the YouTube chat, agrees with me, where he wonders if this was kind of set up. Because you notice they've gone viral today to the point where a lot of people who may not have even known that Undisputed on Fox Sports 1 even existed and that's a show suddenly know about it, right? And then maybe they're going to be more prone to watch it in the future. So the moment today was Shannon Sharpe, who hosts that show with Skip Bayless. He just decides out of the blue. And I don't doubt that he knows this guy and has a personal relationship because Sharp is a former NFL player, probably talks to a lot of guys in the NFL. But Shannon Sharpe just out of the blue decides to pull out his cell phone and call up Julio Jones. He just calls him up spontaneously out of the blue to ask him if he's going to the Cowboys. And we'll play it for you. You tell me, do you think Julio Jones had any idea he was on live TV?
We call? Okay, we are calling. We're calling.
You watching, Julio?
I really hope he answers here.
Julio, have the guts to pick up the phone.
Sounds fake right there.
Yeah.
All right.
Julio. Hold on. Let me put you up. Can you hear me?
I got you. This is your favorite uncle. What's going on, bro?
Man, nothing much. About to go meet up with my brother. What's happening with you?
Man, look. You want to go to the Cowboys, Julio? Or you want to stay in Atlanta?
Oh, man, nah, I'm out of there, man.
You out?
He's out of there.
Are you going to... Ideally, where would you like to go?
Right now, I want to win.
Okay. Well, don't go to Dallas. If you go, you ain't winning in Dallas, Julio.
Man, listen, come on, man. You already know I know.
Okay.
Can you remind him we're on television
Ask him why we wore the Dallas.
Listen. You know how people is, man, with all that going on with the picture.
Yeah.
And all that stuff like that.
Okay.
Man, I ain't never been on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's good enough. Yeah. Julio, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling me back. We on air, but I appreciate you calling me, dog.
Oh, now you tell him.
You know I know my nephew was going to pick up.
Now, listen, man, I don't know, man. I lean to that being a setup. I lean to it being a setup because, if he's on speaker, he should have been it because, Skip Bayless was sniping in some comments. He probably heard that. He heard. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who the woman is who moderates the show. I didn't recognize the voice, but he could hear her talking as well. So, and also, if he's really that tight with Shannon, he should know that Shannon's on the air live at that time. So, I don't know, man. I lean towards that being a setup, that he knew he was getting called live because it was obvious Shannon was, texting with him before because, he talked about when he called him. So, I think Julio Jones knew. I just don't think Julio cared. I don't think Julio cared about telling a national TV audience that he's out of there, that he's leaving Atlanta. And he did throw a little bit of shade at Dallas. It's fine. But here's the thing. So a lot of people are operating under the assumption that Shannon Sharpe just did Julio Jones dirty. Because he didn't even say it till the end of the call. He said, "Oh, we're live on air, by the way." Oh, thank you, Shannon, for saying that at the end of the call, not at the beginning of the call. So let me make one thing abundantly clear. If that wasn't a setup and Julio Jones didn't know he was getting called live on TV and then that conversation with Shannon Sharpe he thought was private and it wasn't private, he should sue Shannon Sharpe. And Shannon is actually, he's guilty of committing a crime if that wasn't a setup, okay? Now, maybe we have some lawyers listening because I'm assuming Julio Jones, he's physically right now in the state of Georgia, whereas Shannon Sharpe made the call from Los Angeles because California, Los Angeles is where they film Undisputed. So in this case, when one end of the phone is in California and the other end of the phone is in Georgia, I don't know which law applies to that situation or if both laws somehow apply. But I can tell you for California, because I looked up California law on this today, it's a two-party consent state. It is a crime to record or eavesdrop on any confidential communication, including a private conversation or telephone call, without the consent of all parties in the conversation. So if Julio Jones didn't have any knowledge of the conversation being listened to by millions of people, because, hey, maybe Undisputed, maybe only like 8 people are watching it live, but now millions of people have watched the clip, on the internet and on social media, he was wronged there, right? And I think he has grounds to sue Shannon if he wants. I mean, maybe they're pals, so maybe he may not want to do that to his buddy. But Shannon Sharpe, if that wasn't a setup, he just did something illegal, not only by California law, but also, anybody who's in broadcasting, you're taught this from a very early point in the business that if ever you want to do like a spontaneous bit on a radio show, like you'll hear a lot. I'll take you guys behind the curtain here actually for a second, because if you listen to a lot of the quirky morning zoo shows, a lot of those outlandish morning shows, they'll do segments of prank calls, right? Where one of their hosts, called up like a random, strip club, and they're coming up with some nonsense to banter. Then they put it on their station as a prank call. I'll take you guys behind the curtain. Whenever you hear those bits on a morning show, they make it sound like it's spontaneous. It's always one of two things, okay? It's either completely phony, where they're not really calling a strip club. They're calling some friend of theirs and doing a whole bit. They're pretending, and it's fake. It's fugazi, completely fake. That's option one. Or option two is if they actually did it, then they have to get the consent of the person they did it to before they actually air it, right? So if ever it sounds like they're doing the prank call live, it's actually recorded. And if it's not completely fake and it is real, they still had to get the person to consent to playing it on the air. So, if you're ever listening to a radio show and they do a prank call segment, it's not what you think it is. If it is what you think it is, they're committing a crime, okay? So it's probably not as spontaneous and real as you think it is. So I have to wonder if this is one of those instances, because in broadcasting, listen, I know Shannon Sharpe is not originally a broadcaster by trade. This guy was a great football player who became a broadcaster after the fact, so maybe he wasn't taught these simple rules about the business, but anyone in broadcasting should know you can't do something like he did spontaneously, that you have to get the person's consent, or you have to prearrange it or tape it before. I don't think this was taped. This was clearly live. But if Julio didn't know about it, that's a big, big error that Shannon Sharpe committed today. In fact, the producers should have never even allowed him to do that. That's why I'm leaning to the idea that it was set up and that it wasn't as spontaneous as we thought it was. Rafa in Miami asked an interesting question in the live chat. He says, my question is this. All the NFL insiders that were complaining on Twitter about this, are they really mad at how it happened, or are they mad that they didn't get the breaking news? Probably the latter. They're probably mad that they weren't the ones that got it, man. But that was a wild moment. Now, whether that was set up or not, it's pretty clear Julio Jones is finito in Atlanta. He's done. He's not going back there. I've seen a couple people ask, hey, do you want him at the Miami Dolphins? I would ask why. Why would you want him here? He can still be productive, no question about it. But the thing is, if I'm bringing in veterans and addressing positions, I want to address positions of need. I'm not worried about the wide receiver position. I feel pretty good about wide receiver. You signed Will Fuller. You drafted Jalen Waddle. Devontae Parker, if healthy, can really contribute. If I'm going to be going out bringing in, high-priced veterans and giving up assets to trade for players, that's not a position that I want to address right now. And I know Julio Jones is really good. He could still be productive, can sell a lot of jerseys here, would be fun to have him for a year. I just don't think it's necessary. I think that there's bigger needs to fill. That's not a guy that I look at and say, oh, this guy's got to be a Miami Dolphin. That's not a position I want to fill. Now, speaking of veterans, this is pretty interesting, and I think this is something I wouldn't mind doing, especially for the discount you're likely to get. The Dolphins hosted defensive end Melvin Ingram to a free agent visit today. So Ingram, he had an injury-riddled season last year, and I think that's why you can get him at a discount. But between the years 2015 and 2019, 43 sacks over a 5-year stretch. 3 consecutive Pro Bowls from 2017 to 2019. He's not far removed from that. A lot of injuries last year again. He missed over half the season because of that last year. But, I mean, to me, if you're talking about a reclamation project and a guy who clearly there's not a big free agent market for him, otherwise he wouldn't still be available. So it's not like you're having to outbid other teams with a high price. I think you can get this guy for next to nothing. This might be a worthy reclamation project with Melvin Ingram. I mean, again, between 2015 to 2019, this guy was electric. I mean, 43 sacks over 5 seasons. So the juice might be worth the squeeze on this one for the former Charger. So that's one that's very interesting to me. Because, again, you're especially at this part of free agency, when you've gotten this far, you're looking for bargains and you're looking for players who could fit your system and really respond to what Brian Flores is doing. And I think this might be a pretty interesting option, in my opinion. Elsewhere in the NFL, and hey, in about 5 minutes, we're going to talk some NBA. We'll talk more about the Miami Heat, the Game 1 failure, and what we do in Game 2 tonight. And I say failure. I mean, they were really close, right? Despite terrible shooting nights from Jimmy and Bam, the Heat still lost by 2 points in overtime. I actually feel pretty good heading into Game 2 tonight. We're going to be talking with Giancarlo Navas from Miami Heat Beat. G is going to join us when we come back. Real quick, I see people making a big fuss about the fact that Aaron Rodgers did not show up to Packers OTAs. Why would anyone be surprised by that? I mean, what indication have we gotten in recent weeks that guy has any interest in showing up to organized team activities? Like, I think the only headline would be if Aaron Rodgers did show up to a Packers practice, then you're like, whoa, what happened here? So, no, he's going to stay the course. This guy is serious. This guy doesn't talk to his own mother. You think he's gonna bury the hatchet with the Packers this easily? No, they're in for a long fight here. All right, we'll shift our focus back to Bam, Jimmy, the Miami Heat, Spo. They got Game 2 tonight, looking to even up the series with the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll talk with Giancarlo Navas from Miami Heat Beat when we come back. Hey, every Saturday at 11 a.m., soccer fans can connect with Austin Robillard and Red Card Radio. From the Premiership to the MLS, catch up with your favorite team, including our very own Inter Miami CF. Listen to Red Card Radio every Saturday from 11 to 1 p.m. with Austin Robillard exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
Hey, Big O, what's going on? Listen, I just was telling your guy that answering the phone, Alex, it's just a pleasure, man, to get out of work and get in your car and be able to put on the radio and hear South Florida sports and not have to listen to some bull crap about another team from another state that you can give to a rat's ass about and sit there and have to go through all this other bull crap talk to, again, never hear them talk about your team once or twice in 20 hours. It's just an honor, and I wanted to thank you, man, for starting this thing up, man. It's balls to the walls. I love it.
Onside Zone with a Big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on OnsideRadio.com.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Donno for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwork here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m. only on OnSideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Fish fans, time to reel in the latest news in baseball with OnSideRadio.com's Marlins Minute. Here's Alex Aguirre.
The Marlins continue to keep things close in the NL East after taking 2 out of 3 from the NL East leading New York Mets and winning yesterday 5-1. Cody Poteet continues to shine and make a case for himself as a mainstay in the rotation after pitching 7 shutout innings and striking out 4. Pablo Lopez and Cody going 7 innings on Saturday and Sunday was much needed for the Fish after using 10 pitchers on Friday. All the offense in yesterday's game was in the second inning as the lineup made quick work against former Marlin Jordan Yamamoto as he surrendered 4 runs in 4 innings pitched. Cody Poteet also collected his first big league hit and RBI in that second inning 5-run rally. The Marlins are hosting a very important 4-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies starting today, and Philadelphia is coming into the series second in the division but only half a game in front of Miami. Let's see if the Marlins can repeat their performance in Philly last week, taking 2 out of 3 and continue their climb in the standings. First pitch is at 7:10. Let's go Fish.
Keep up with the latest on the Miami Marlins by subscribing on most platforms by searching OnSide Radio.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
You know, it's funny. I was enjoying listening when Alex Aguirre called up Giancarlo Navas, who joins us now, does an awesome job with Miami Heat beat. One of the first things that Alex said to him when he called him up was, "Tell me you got some good news for tonight." Now, Giancarlo, I want to ask you about that because honestly, I don't feel bad at all heading into game 2. I mean, considering the shooting nights that Jimmy and Bam both had, and yet still the Heat come so close to winning that game and stealing game 1. They lose by 2 in overtime. I'm really not feeling terrible about tonight. How do you feel? Like, what's your barometer of concern for this evening?
Well, first of all, by the way, shout out to Aguirre, who was a good friend of mine from back of our FIU days when we used to do student radio together, where he was also the master of panic, right?
So he's the Stan Van Gundy of FIU radio.
Yeah. Who called Stan Master of Panic? I know it was Stan. I don't remember who.
It was
called
Shaq, I think.
It was Shaq. That was Alex, dude. Alex was the Master of Panic back at our FIU days. Yeah, FIU basketball would lose one game, and Alex was like, "Season's over." FIU Alex Magoo would have one bad quarter. Alex, oh no, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, like GC was there to balance me out as well. So he would have his days, I would have my days, but we'll balance each other out. It was some good.
Alex,
good
you were
times.
the sports director. You need leadership.
No. Like sometimes GC was leading the pack. The people just didn't know that.
But Donna, to answer your question, I feel pretty good about it tonight. I rewatched a lot of the game, rewatched a lot of kind of how the Bucks were covering the Heat defensively, and I think that both teams played it pretty vanilla. I think that for the most part, it was kind of, they played the matchup pretty straight up, and I think the Heat's base kind of what they run versus what the Bucks run. I think that the Heat just have advantages. That's been talked about a lot, right? The Brook Lopez and drop. You saw what Duncan does when they don't get him up to the level of the screen. He just has a ton of space. Kendrick Nunn also is going to have that pull-up whenever he wants. I thought Dragic as well. These guys, when they play off the Heat, they're going to have their angles. And the dirty little secret about the Heat is that they're not very interested in going to the rim this season.
Yeah.
Other than Jimmy, they don't have a lot of pressure. So, I mean, who is Lopez dropping for, right? It's Bam and it's Jimmy, because the rest of the guys just want to do what they did. So I feel pretty good because I just think Jimmy's going to have a bounce-back game. I think they were 6 for 16 at the rim via cleaning the glass, which is just like, they're not going to shoot so poorly at the rim again. And and Bam's jumper and all that.
Well, yeah, and you mentioned, really only Jimmy going to the rim, and that's led to a lot of criticism for Bam for being, too, and we've said it before about Bam, but game one included just being too passive, and even Goran Dragic brought it up. He was very politely, but he was critical in the post game. I mean, only Goran could criticize that politely. It's unbelievable how nice that dude is. But
nicest man.
He is so nice. But so, what would you like to see from Bam tonight?
So it's interesting because I've kind of, like, as I'm watching the game, I thought, okay, well, he's pulling up against Lopez. That makes sense, right? And I'm like, well, you don't really have it. He wasn't even getting free throws, right? And at some point, you kind of need him to get downhill, and you kind of need him to force the effort because the Heat ran things to get him one-on-one in space against Lopez. I tweeted this out the other day. They kind of ran Duncan off a handoff. Middleton does a good job of kind of getting over the screen. Then they pivot, and Duncan cuts, right? So Duncan gets off the ball and then cuts through the middle right to the rim and then back out to the left corner. So he's dragging his man with him. They're spaced 4 out. And what that does is that just leaves Lopez in the middle of the paint and Bam holding the ball at the elbow. And if you're the Heat, you're like, okay, well, I like that matchup, right? We have this athletic max playing big who can pull up, who can go to the rim, who has good touch and is a good passer. He doesn't even have to worry about help just because everybody's stapled to their man. Dragic was killing them and Duncan was killing them. So, like, their spacing was great. And Bam just kind of pulls up for a little weak jumper. And it happened again late in overtime. And this time he opts to go to the rim, but he takes like this really soft dribble, looks up. He's like, oh, man, I guess I got to go. And he goes. And I understand he just didn't have it. And when Lopez is sunk so low into the paint, it's tough. He's just always kind of struggled with length, whether it's Rudy Gobert, whether it's DeAndre Ayton, right? Like these really lengthy drop big guys bother him. And if you look at his really big scoring performances, right, it's against Jeff Green. He's good at that. And against the Celtics front line, right? He's good. So I think he'll figure it out. I'm not too worried. There were a couple things that I think he can clean up, and it's more of a mentality thing. But I think all season he's bounced back pretty. When he's had like these weird games, the next one tends to be really good.
That's true.
So you kind of hope that, okay, we'll keep pace.
Yeah, and, coming out of game one, I criticized Bam more than Jimmy because at least Jimmy had, a signature moment hitting that layup to force overtime. But he had an even worse shooting night. And then the puzzling thing about Jimmy was you never want him attempting 9 threes. I mean, he went 2 for 9 from 3. So, and Jimmy even mentioned, hey, if those shots are there, I might take 9 threes again next game. I certainly hope that's not the case, Giancarlo.
I mean, I think some of that was they were available to him. I mean, he's always played that way, right? Like they're always ducking under pick and rolls. But it hasn't mattered, right? And I thought the interesting thing, Donno, was you saw that there was a move probably early in that second quarter where the Bucks were like, okay, we're going to put Giannis on the ball defending Jimmy. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to keep Middleton on Duncan Robinson, and we're going to keep Drew Holiday on Dragic, right? And we're going to keep Lopez on Bam because we want him in all those actions to dropping. So that, the Bucks played their card. They're like, we're going to have our best defender on Jimmy. And Jimmy was able to get to where he wanted. He was able to manipulate the floor. I thought Dedmon did a good job of kind of screening and waiting. If you look, I love their chemistry in two-man game. Bam as well. I mean, Jimmy was able to get to his spots and pick and roll when Giannis was on the ball. So, I mean, I don't really see a need for him to pull up, right? Like, it seems a little ridiculous when against their best coverages or the Bucks' most comfortable coverages, he's getting to the rim. I mean, that layup was at the rim. There was another one where it was a Bam and Giannis and Lopez in a pick and roll, and he was able to get to the rim, just missed a layup, but it wasn't really like the contest. It was just like he missed a layup and then Bam missed a putback. So I think that the shot diet's going to change. I think he just has to say that after a game where we shot 9 threes, and well, how is he going to defend it? I do think the interesting thing about how they're playing him, which kind of led to some of the threes, was last series when they played them, the Bucks were switching guard screens, right? So if Dragic were to come up to set a screen, they were switching George Hill onto Jimmy, and then Jimmy would go to work, right? Obviously a great post player. I think he shot 58% out of the post this season. Just monster. He mauls smaller guys. So what they're doing now is, so he was looking for DiVincenzo, he was looking for Bryn Forbes, and instead of switching that, the Bucks were just kind of hard showing, so that the defender who's being screened is like kind of jumping out at the ball, arms up wide, and then letting his man recover, so that they don't have to switch, right? So the Bucks have made a conscious effort of like, okay, we're not going to let Jimmy do that. So in those kind of instances of that hard show, Jimmy's like, okay, well, I have an opportunity to pull up here. There are some lanes where he can kind of go to the basket, but to me, that was the Bucks' biggest adjustment and kind of dictated some of Jimmy's weird shot selection. But I mean, watching it again, I mean, he has so many other angles on those plays that I think he's going to realize, like, oh, I could just get to my pull up wherever I want when they do this, and it'll be fine.
We're joined here by Giancarlo Navas from Miami Heat Beat. Giancarlo, I really want our guy, Alphonse Sidney, to be able to have a happy hangover time tonight. Do you have a prediction for Game 2? Are the Heat going to even this thing up in Milwaukee?
Listen, I think predicting is a fool's game. It's a fool's errand. But I will say I don't feel bad. I can't say, like, oh, they're going to win or whatever, because, I mean, we don't know. It's tough. I do think that's so lame to do. I hate to do that. Every time I predict, they lose. Every time I predict they're going to win, they lose. So I'm doing all a favor.
Okay. I like it.
I do think that, listen, Donald, they don't have to make a lot of adjustments because they got the shots mostly that they wanted. I think they're going to do a couple things on the margins. I think Jimmy's just going to flat out play better. A lot of it looked rusty. I mean, he had like 6 turnovers, and a lot of them were like pocket passes to Bam where he was just like, what the hell's going on, right? So, like, that stuff's going to get cleaned up. Again, the 6 for 16 at the rim, that's just not going to happen again. Jimmy's too good a finisher. He's one of the best in the league in the top percentile. Again, out of the post, he was useless, right? He couldn't score on Bryn Forbes, who's going to be like the litmus test on like how this series is going. Like how are he going to punish those Bryn Forbes minutes? And those are little things that I'm just like, okay, I expect that to change. I trust Jimmy to have a bounce back game because that's who that guy is. I think that they're going to try to get Ariza going a little bit more off ball. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like throughout the season, I think they've done a good job of kind of getting Ariza going to the rim off the ball. He's been a really, really good cutter for them. And that just kind of wasn't there. I think part of that was they used Biggs guarding him, but I just think kind of getting a little more movement kind of will help Jimmy, will help Bam a little bit. And I think with all of that said, it's going to give Bam a little more room, a little more wiggle room to kind of play his game and to play within himself. No free throws for Bam. That's absolutely going to change. He's not going to have another game without free throws. So it just seems very clear that there is a very easy, low-hanging fruit way to play better. And if they played a little better, they win that game. I mean, it's just if they make a couple more layups that they missed, they win that game. I mean, it's not even a question.
I love it. So elsewhere in the NBA, I thought LeBron should have been suspended for violating COVID protocol, but the NBA has no balls. But karma is real, and the Lakers dropped Game 1. We've seen that, though, from LeBron teams in the playoffs over the years. I mean, how many times have we seen gentlemen sweeps where they drop Game 1? Like, do you think the Lakers are in real trouble here? Or...
This is different, Dono. This is different,
Dono.
Dono.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Tell me why.
Dono, this is different. The Lakers guards are so small. Alex Caruso is so small. Like, these guys that they're out in the backcourt are so small. And Devin Booker is cooking them. And the Lakers are sending double teams from everywhere on the court, which is so weird. And the Suns have like these built-in reads, right? These guys flash to the middle of the floor, right? So Jay Crowder kind of comes in, forget that little painted area, gets that dump-off pass, easy jumper, right? Mikal Bridges, same thing, right? Campaign, same thing. So like the Suns, credit to Monty Williams, the Lakers don't have an answer for Devin Booker, and it might just be like LeBron has to guard him, which I think is just a win because then now you free up the court for kind of your wings and stuff. But this feels a little different. Ayton outplayed Anthony Davis.
Yep.
I think AD is going to bounce back. I mean, AD just has so many matchup advantages, and I think once the Lakers just decide, listen, no more Drummond, we're playing small, it's going to get better for them. But listen, I mean, if Chris Paul's like shoulders hurt, then a lot of this is moot. I mean, he has to come back and be healthy and be a legitimate threat. But I mean, they have matchup advantages that I think people did not like talk about enough, especially that their backcourt's small. Like people talk about how good Caruso is, but I mean, the release point of Booker, the shots that Booker likes to get, I mean, it's going to be tough for them to defend that. And I mean, and the Lakers didn't get to 90 points, Donno.
Yeah.
In the year 2021, an LeBron-led offense did not get to 90 points. Crazy. It feels different. I don't know if the Suns win the series, but they're going to give the Lakers a fight for their lives.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, when I was looking at the futures, I didn't put any money on it, but I did think that Lakers a minus 300 favorite in that series seemed a little bit too much in their favor, in my opinion. But I enjoy talking with this man, as always. You guys want to make sure you follow him on Twitter at gnovice103 and check out his work at Miami Heat Beat, and you can also hear him rambling about anime as well, which I still need to get into. My wife loves anime. Your
wife's cool, Donno. Your wife's cool.
Oh, she's way cooler than me. I don't doubt that for a second.
You're pretty cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking some time, and enjoy Game 2 tonight.
Anytime.
Love it. Awesome stuff there from Giancarlo. And listen, I hope he's right about the Suns. I would love to see them send the Lakers home. 844-416-8123 is how you get us on the text line. That's 844-416-8123. And make sure you can watch us streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. I'm very active on YouTube during the show. Go to YouTube, search Onside Radio. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, by the way, and you can join in on the chat room anytime. The chat room's a lot of fun, the live chat. I read all the messages. I respond to some of them, and I bring some of them up on the air as well. I love the discussions, get really, really good in there. So make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, hit the watch live button, and when you're in there watching us live, do this for all the shows. Do it for me. Do it for the Onside Zone, for Toasted Sports, Kai's Corner, Miami Sports Music. Anytime you're watching a show live, make sure you smash the like button. Hit the thumbs up button, because that really does us a solid, right? Because we're going to show up in all the algorithms. We're going to be suggested videos for more and more people. You'll help spread the gospel of Onside Radio. 4 o'clock hour continues on after this. We'll keep you guys updated on what's happening with the Florida Panthers tonight as they are set to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in a must-win Game 5. We are going to talk we're going to talk some Inter Miami later. 5 o'clock, we'll be joined by Alex Winley from MLS Multiplex. When we come back, though, man, I keep getting questions about Julio Jones to the Dolphins. Let me make my answer loud and clear when we return. Hey, Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com, because every week you can keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports and when news breaks. Catch the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. Chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
Over the weekend, the Florida Panthers lost to the Lightning 6-2. The Panthers are now on the brink of elimination tonight, and with both goalies struggling, who will Coach Q place in net? Game 5 is tonight. Puck drops at 8 p.m. Miami Heat lost 109-107 on a late overtime field goal by Chris Middleton on Saturday to go down 1-0 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Goran Dragic led the Heat with 25 points. Game 2 tips off tonight at 7:30. The Miami Marlins won the weekend series with the New York Mets after a 5-1 win yesterday. Cody Poteet got the win, pitching 7 shutout innings. The Marlins welcome the Philadelphia Phillies to Lone Depot Park for a 4-game series starting tonight. Trevor Rogers is on the mound for your fish, and first pitch is at 7:10. Inter Miami CF lost to the Chicago Fire 1-0 on Saturday. The next Saturday, they welcome DC United and a full-capacity crowd to Dry Pink Stadium for an 8 p.m. start. You're listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station, OnSideRadio.com.
With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Yoga.
Thanks again to Giancarlo Navas from Miami Heat Beat for joining us, talking some Heat basketball. Got game 2 tonight, 7:30, Heat and Bucks. 5 o'clock, we're going to talk with Alex Windley from MLS Multiplex. Get her take on the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day that Inter Miami had on Saturday in that 1-0 loss at the Chicago Fire, a team we should have beaten. No excuses. Chicago's so bad. They hadn't scored a goal in 3 games before facing us. Should have put that team away. Terrible. A huge hello to everyone in the chat. Brooklyn Rob is in there. By the way, Brooklyn Rob says, he's a Juventus fan. He says, if you mention one word about Inter Scudetto, I am logging out. Never seen someone celebrate a championship for weeks. Guess you have to when it doesn't happen very often. Well, first of all, you know that's not true. People celebrate championships for months. And also, of course I'm going to celebrate for weeks because Inter locked up that championship with 4 weeks to spare in the season. So I've been celebrating every day since they officially locked it up. Stop crying. Stop crying. But in any case, huge hello to Brooklyn Rob, to Ray Grullon, to David, to Joseph Rodriguez, Rafa in Miami, Enrique Paradoa is in, Rosendo is in, and Rosendo, he asks the question of the day so far, because I see a lot of this. Ever since now we've known for weeks that the Atlanta Falcons want to trade Julio Jones. But Julio Jones this morning made an appearance via Shannon Sharp's cell phone on Undisputed on Fox Sports 1, and he confirmed, I'm out of Atlanta, that he's leaving Atlanta. They want to trade him for salary cap reasons, so they're working on that. And Rosendo asked the question that I see a lot of Miami Dolphins fans asking today. He says, good afternoon, Donno and Onside Radio family. What are the positives if the Dolphins sign Julio Jones? Now, sign is not even the word I'd use. They have to trade for him. If you're asking what the positives would be, I guess the positives would be it'd be kind of fun, right? As a fan or a member of the media, like covering Julio Jones would be fun. A positive for the Dolphins, they'd sell some jerseys, right? Because I think people would buy Julio Jones Dolphins jerseys. That's where the positives end. Like, this is not a move the Miami Dolphins have any business making, okay? Julio Jones is expensive, and he's old, 32 years old. And he's entering the first year of a 3-year contract extension. Like, the Dolphins can't even afford this, like, under the salary cap. So he's entering 3-year, $66 million extension from 21 through 23, which includes salary cap hits of over $23 million next year and over $19 million in the following 2 years. And as far as what you would have to give up to acquire him in a trade, obviously there's no exact science to predicting this, but I was just reading through a story from Sports Illustrated. A high-ranking NFL executive said he would give the Falcons second and fourth round choices. So 1 second rounder and 1 fourth rounder in exchange for Julio Jones. So bear with me here, guys. Dolphin fans who are listening. Yes, Julio Jones is a name. You probably had him on your fantasy teams for a number of years. I have. He's done some good things for me. Like, and he could probably still play. But the bottom line, you look at it from a Miami Dolphins perspective, makes 0 sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. When you need to improve positions like running back and pass rusher, right? That's why the Dolphins just had a pass rusher visiting their facility in Melvin Ingram. That's the type of deal you need to make here. So you're talking about bringing in Julio Jones, who's on the wrong side of 30, has a giant contract, giant no matter who you are, especially for a player his age, and you've got to give up probably a second and fourth round pick to get him. No bueno. I don't want any part of that. Like, I don't. I'm sorry. Like, okay, I get it. This is a player you've watched before. You know, this is a guy that gets you excited because he's a big-name player in this league and he's available. It doesn't make any sense from a Miami Dolphins perspective. If this were a situation where this guy was like a free agent and you could get him at a cut rate price and like a 1-year show me type of deal, you know, kind of like what you did with Will Fuller, and obviously Julio Jones, a much bigger name than Will Fuller is. But if you could get him in that sort of a situation, then okay. And maybe if Will Fuller wasn't already here, and if you hadn't just drafted Jalen Waddle, then maybe you could talk. But no, this doesn't make any sense from a Miami Dolphins perspective. It quite frankly, it stinks. I don't want to do this. I don't want any part of it. Now, the odds makers do believe the Dolphins are going to be in the hunt. They're not the favorite, though. So here are the updated odds of Julio Jones' next team if traded. I think he will be traded. So they go, the Patriots are the favorite at minus 150. Now, there's probably some Dolphin fans out there who want Miami to trade for him just to keep him off the Patriots, right? And listen, I get it. If he were to end up going to New England, maybe he could have like a couple of years of a renaissance under Bill Belichick, and you'd hate to see that. But that's just, to me, that's not enough of a reason why the Dolphins should make the move. So the Patriots are the favorite at minus 150. They're the only team that is in the minus. The Tennessee Titans are at plus 300. The Ravens plus 700. The Miami Dolphins are fourth highest in the book at plus 750. Then you got the 49ers plus 800. And the Colts and Packers are both plus 900. And maybe the Packers say, hey, here's a gift for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, don't go and host the game shows. Come back. We're getting you a receiver almost as old as you. Come and play with Julio Jones. So that's where you stand. The New England Patriots are the odds-on favorite. And I know that would make a lot of Dolphin fans unhappy, seeing him go to New England. But the good news is, if he does go to New England, doesn't have Tom Brady throwing him the ball, right? I mean, the remains of Cam Newton and the statue of Mac Jones are a far cry from Tommy Brady throwing you the football. So I don't even think I would worry that much if he wound up in New England. So there you go. Brooklyn Rob writes in about the Juventus roasting. He said, I knew it was coming. Now that the Serie A is over, though, Forza Azzurri, Euro 2020. Dude, yeah, the Euros start, I want to say June 11th. I know it's right around that time. I think it's June 11th when the Euros start. Yeah, Brooklyn Rob, it's amazing. You're going to see how during the Serie A season, he and I are mortal enemies. Like, I wake up every day, I've got a Brooklyn Rob dartboard. Like, I'm throwing darts at Brooklyn Rob wearing a Juventus kit. But once the Euros start, we become the best of friends. Like, we're going to be high-fiving. We're going to be tweeting each other about how much we love the Italian national team. International tournaments bring people together. People who support bitter rival clubs, we all come together for the Euros. It's going to be awesome. It would be fantastic. So, yeah, for people asking if I want Julio Jones in a Dolphins uniform, I don't. It doesn't make any sense. I'd be really disappointed in Chris Greer if he made that move. Unless Greer is able to pull off, like, some masterpiece, like, finesse trade where he just obliterates the Falcons in the trade he pulls off. But, I mean, at the terms we've discussed, given how expensive Jones is and, having to give up potentially a second and fourth rounder for the trade, I want 0.0 part of that, man. We'll wrap up the 4 o'clock hour when we come back here on Onside Radio. Hey, Onside Radio enters Kai's Corner with Kai Chen Chisholm every day from 10 a.m. to noon. Join Kai as he discusses the biggest stories in South Florida sports. Tune in every day from 10 a.m. to noon for Kai's Corner on the home for South Florida Sports Talk, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwork here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., only on OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
She's kind of young, so I don't know. She may not be into Van Halen much. Let's see. Ruthie, good afternoon. Are you a Van Halen fan?
You know, I just had to Google Van Halen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just literally have it on my computer right now.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger.
He was a captain and ginger. Captain and ginger. He was a captain and ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
So at 5 o'clock, we're going to talk with Alex Winley, who does an awesome job covering Inter Miami for MLS Multiplex. We'll see if she was as frustrated as I was coming out of that game on Saturday. I know Inter Miami is capable of better than what they did Saturday. We've seen it. They struggled with the way Chicago Fire were pressing them, which is what CF Montreal did to them, and they struggled with that as well. So clearly, credit to Chicago Fire and their coach for studying that and exploiting it, because Inter Miami, they struggled to build out of the back when there was pressure. They couldn't string two passes together. And then the most frustrating thing about it was, despite how poorly the Herons played, they still could have at least gotten a point out of that game. Like a 0-0 draw would have been ugly, but it would have been better than losing and come away with nothing. And you had a howler in net by John McCarthy. It was really bad. And he obviously, we've seen inconsistencies with the goalkeeper before. He didn't play well against Galaxy to open the season, but he'd been really good in the 5 games in between. Like he had really stepped up and gotten better, and then he let that really soft, direct free kick go right through his hands and trickle into the net. It was unfortunate. So we'll break everything down with Alex Winley. Yeah, I enjoyed on Twitter over the weekend. I was following our buddy Kai Chenchism from Kai's Corner. You know, I kept listening to him last week, and Alex, I want to get your take on this as well, because I kept hearing Kai last week, like, kind of complaining that on Sunday, yesterday, he had like a date with his friends to go to brunch. He's never been to brunch before, which I find baffling, because, dude, I've brunched probably like 100 times in my life. I don't know. Maybe that means I'm like too hoity-toity, but I've been to many brunches in my day. Kai is a grown-ass man, had never been to brunch before, and like he kept talking, I don't know what to expect from brunch. I don't know what to talk about at brunch. I don't know what to wear to brunch. He was so concerned about it. And then I'm following my dude on Twitter, and he starts putting out these videos from brunch. He looked happier than a pig in shit. Like he was having the time of his freaking life at brunch. He got like 4 or 5 mimosas deep. He was like putting his arm around his friends. He was having an awesome time. Like, Alex, are you a brunch guy? Because like, I've never had a bad time at brunch. Like it does. Like I've been to some fancy brunches. I've been to like some, kind of like low rent, like throwing together brunches. As long as you have bottomless mimosas, I have never had a bad time at brunch before. Never.
I mean, I love brunch. I've like you said, like I've done it a lot of times. It's always a good time.
Always a good time.
Day drinking can be a little dangerous though, but so like that's what brunch is there for. You drink and you're eating. So you're not just, drinking on an empty stomach. Hopefully not though. But yeah, brunch is awesome. Brunch is fun. And then like there's a place down south that closed down a while back called George's on Sunset.
Oh, I love that place. That closed down?
Yeah, well, I think about a year or two ago now.
Was that like during COVID or before that?
Way before COVID. Not way before, but like a good amount before the pandemic.
It's been probably 6 or 7 years since I've been there, but I have been to George's before. And also in the Grove. Have you ever been to Bouchon, the French restaurant?
No.
That place is solid for brunch. Now, I think the 2 best brunches I've had in my life were, and these are like super fancy brunches. Like I'm still paying off the debt from these brunches, but the one that they have at the Biltmore, which I think they might have closed that down actually. I hope they bring it back, but I don't think they do that brunch right now. But dude, that's like all you can eat They have everything from like crab legs to sushi to traditional breakfast stuff. Dude, you pay through the nose, but you eat like a king. And I went to a brunch with like stone crabs and a bunch of stuff at the Four Seasons on Brickell. Like I'm still paying off the debt from these brunches, but it's so worth it. Like so incredibly worth it. Those are probably the best brunches I've been to. So I know what's going to happen with Kai. Now that he's experienced his first brunch, my dude is going to be wearing sweater vests. He's going to be brunching every week. Like every single week, this guy's going to be a brunch junkie from now on. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk some Inter Miami. Really tough loss over the weekend, but I think there's light at the end of the tunnel because they have an opportunity to bounce back in front of a full stadium this Saturday, and I hope they do it. I think we have better days to come. Alex Windley from MLS Multiplex is going to join us next. This is your home for Inter Miami CF fans all over the world, OnSideRadio.com.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodyAsDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moody-Ass family. Dr. Moody-Ass is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodyAsDental.com.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the Radio.net app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Hey, it's Toast, and no doubt last year hurricane season was one of the craziest we've ever seen. Well, Noah's saying once again, going to be another active season. So you need to call B&T Windows and Doors today and get PGT custom windows and doors installed like I did so that you are fully protected. Listen, there's no better peace of mind than PGT custom windows and doors when you're in the cone of death for a Category 5 storm. Call B&T Windows and Doors today to get set up. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnSideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports. And when news breaks, catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnSideRadio.com. You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnSideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of OnSide Radio ownership, management, sponsors, website, or Inter Miami Marketing, LLC. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 5 o'clock hour here on Man of the Match on Onside Radio. We're taking you up until 6 o'clock. So there's a lot of stuff I see on the soccer front developing, like Cristiano Ronaldo writes this huge statement on Instagram. It sounds like he is probably leaving Juventus. I'm hearing Andrea Pirlo might leave Juventus, and I hope our guy Brooklyn Rob is still listening. You guys know I despise Juventus, but if Pirlo and Ronaldo both leave, they might actually be good again because Pirlo had no business coaching the senior team with no experience, and Ronaldo has just been eating salary like a black hole for the last 3 years. So they might actually be good again next year if both of those guys leave. But I want to talk plenty of Inter Miami here. Very pleased to be joined again by someone who's becoming a show favorite, Alex Windley, who covers Inter Miami for MLS Multiplex, does a great job for World Football Index as well. Now, Alex, actually, before we get into what happened this past Saturday on the pitch, if Ronaldo may be leaving his current club, you kind of have to wonder at what point does he think about maybe an MLS move?
Well, honestly, I think it won't happen until after the World Cup next year at least. Because, I feel like he still has a lot to give for any European team that'll take him, really. So an MLS move right now doesn't quite make sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. And plus, I'd be in a real dilemma because, if he were to come to Inter Miami at any point, I'm gonna have to delete a lot of tweets because I'm very hard on the guy, and I don't want people saving the receipts and shoving it in my face. So I've always, Alex, for the last couple of years, because obviously Inter Miami get linked to a ton of big names because David Beckham, and it's a glamorous market. And I've always said if one of the biggest stars ends up coming here, I just hope it's Messi and not Ronaldo because I've talked so much trash about Ronaldo. I'm going to have to eat a lot of words. But and also, we see Inter Miami still getting linked with a lot of players like Marcelo most recently. Do you think, and obviously we know a couple players are coming in the summer, not gigantic moves, but Marsman coming in at goalie, Kieran Gibbs coming in at fullback. Do you think that they may be able to even clear, space, maybe move on from Pizarro and bring in another DP? What do you think might happen this summer?
I think it's definitely on the cards at this point. Pizarro hasn't quite worked out. It wouldn't surprise me if Inter Miami does try to move him off the books this summer to bring in someone that Neville can, that fits what Neville wants to do, really. So it's something that I would look out for, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen. But, with this club, with Chris Henderson in, anything can happen. He has tons of connections, so it wouldn't shock me either way, really.
So, okay, in your words, what went wrong this past Saturday? Because I really was not expecting the performance that we got. What to you were the biggest areas where Inter Miami failed in Chicago this past weekend?
Well, I don't know if you saw my tweet after the game, but I was pretty disappointed in our DPs, mainly Gonzalo Higuain and Matuidi. I think they've got to do more. The team's paying them a lot of money to score goals, hold down the midfield, but they're not playing up to their ability, really. You saw the Chicago game. Chicago's basically throwing long balls over the top for Inter Miami to go chase them, and they were blocking off the middle part of the field, so Inter Miami couldn't play through. Federico Higuain couldn't get on the ball as much. So, if we had, not to say that Blaze isn't that type of midfielder, if we had a more creative midfielder that was a bit better on the ball, we would be able to play through that comfortably and get the ball into Higuain. But as far as that goes, Inter Miami was just really poor, really poor.
And obviously big goalkeeping error from John McCarthy. And it was disappointing because I thought he'd actually been pretty good, in the middle.
Yeah.
Because he struggled in the first game against Galaxy. Then I thought for, the next 5 games, I thought he was pretty good. And then he has Howler this past weekend. So, at least the good news is for fans wondering if he's the answer, we do have another goalkeeper coming this summer. But what was your take on that error by McCarthy?
Oh, my gosh. My hands went into my head because I knew that was a harsh one on him because John had a couple of good saves in that game.
Yeah.
Phil Neville, during the post-match conference, he said, and he was right, we would have been down by 2 or 3 goals had John not saved a couple of those. But, with goalkeepers, you're remembered by the shots that you don't save. So that one error he made, it basically, it cost Miami the game, really. So, yeah, let's see how Nick Marshman comes in. So let's see how that goes. But, yeah, it was a difficult game for John.
I try not to judge anybody too much by one game, McCarthy included. But another one was, prior to Saturday, Federico Higuain had really been brilliant, and he played from the start for the second consecutive game. Didn't provide Saturday what he provided the previous weekend. So, I mean, just some concern start to creep in that just maybe at 36 you can't count on him to be brilliant every single game.
I think so. He's coming off a major knee injury, and like you said, he's 36, and Pizarro hasn't quite got on too well. And, we do have George Acosta, but right now he's with Fort Lauderdale CF. So that number 10 spot, it's a bit of a hole for Inter Miami. We do have Gonzalo Higuain that can drop back and play as a 10, and perhaps Julian Carranza can start up top, but you want your number 9 DP up there scoring goals. So I think it takes away a lot from Gonzalo to drop him deep. Federico is 36, so even though he is fully fit, I don't think we can rely on him every game, but he definitely brings a lot. But that's something that Inter Miami will have to look at, potentially getting in a proper number 10 in.
I think even with the way that the team played, I thought the most discouraging thing was seeing Robbie Robinson getting re-injured with the same hamstring. So at this point, I'm not even looking for someone to blame here, whether he was rushed back, if that was Neville's fault or his fault for pushing too hard, or the training staff's fault. I think the bottom line is he needs to take now an extended layoff.
Yeah, I totally agree. When he went down, I was heartbroken for him because you saw him crying. He was visibly distraught. It just felt bad. I feel like I hope Robbie doesn't think that he let the team down because, your body does fail you sometimes. Neville said he's one of those speedy type of players that you have to just watch their hamstrings and whatnot. But I do agree. He deserves an extended layoff. I wouldn't play him until at least July.
Yeah.
It's a difficult situation for sure, but I do think Brett can hold down that left wing spot, and Jovan Jones can push up, and when Gibbs gets in, I feel like that left hand side should be okay when Robbie does return.
Joined here by Alex Winley, who does an awesome job covering Inter Miami for MLS Multiplex, writes for World Football Index as well. So yeah, let's put this past Saturday behind us and hope for a better day coming up this Saturday, because Alex, I'm sure you're going to be at the stadium. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see Drive Pink Stadium open to full capacity for the first time. What needs to happen for this team to bounce back and get a W against DC United?
Stay compact, really. Less mistakes at the back, less mistakes at goalkeeper. Hopefully Leardom is fully fit and ready to go at that right back spot because, I do love Victor Ulloa. He's a great guy, great character. He's a great Swiss Army knife. We do need that natural fullback going up and down that right-hand flank to combine with Lewis Morgan. But, yeah, Miami needs to keep it tight through the middle. DC United play a similar brand of football to Chicago in a way that they do play a lot of long balls. They love going over the top. They love playing with pace. So it'll be difficult for our back line to maybe chase that. Shawcross is a bit up there in age, a bit slow, but it's not impossible, but Miami definitely needs to stay compact in the middle, less mistakes at the back, and we need to take our chances up top.
And they're debuting the limited edition blue Parley jerseys, which I think are kind of neat. Now I feel like I'd rather see them wear like one of their traditional uniforms since it's the first home game or the first full capacity home game, because my thinking is a lot of the fans are not going to have the special blues and they're going to want to match the team, but still I think the jersey's kind of neat. What do you think about that?
I actually ordered it the same day it dropped.
Nice. You're a real fan.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I know a lot of people were a bit iffy on it, but I enjoyed the colors. I like the pattern, so I said, why not? So I think it looks good. I think it'll look a bit weird on the pitch for sure, but I do like the colors, and it'll look good.
Good stuff here from Alex Winley. Does an awesome job covering Inter Miami for MLSMultiplex.com. It's where you check out her work. So, hey, what would you say has been your take so far? And obviously, Blaise Matuidi, I thought he was poor this past weekend. We've seen some good stuff, though, from Gregory, and we know what Matuidi is capable of. So how do you feel about the partnership developing between the two of those guys, and what's been your take on Gregory so far this year?
Well, as far as the two of them together, I thought they're growing into it. I do rate Gregory highly, but as for Blaise, he's getting up there in age, and, sometimes you can see him lose a step with the younger attacker. Sometimes he's, not as quick to the ball as you would like him to be. And, Gregory's always there to clean up. And I love Blaze. He's a great guy. He's a great locker room presence. But I do fear that, Inter Miami will maybe have to, change that position maybe sooner rather than later. You heard Neville already say that he had to change up his tactics a little bit to suit the players he has at his disposal. And I think, unfortunately, Blaze, he's getting up there. Maybe bringing in another center midfielder, maybe this summer or next winter transfer window would be ideal. But yeah, as far as Gregory goes, he's been brilliant. Best player so far, in my opinion. The two of them just have to continue to build on the good performance they have had.
Speaking of Blaze, he was the subject of some controversy with the whole fourth DP thing. And, over a month ago, the commissioner, Don Garber, was here at the stadium for the opener, and he acted like there was going to be kind of a swift announcement of whatever the discipline was, and we're still kind of in limbo there. Is there any update you can give us? What's the latest you've heard?
As far as that goes, I have not heard anything. It's the same thing like that Garber said a month ago. We should have had an update by now, honestly. They said they're still doing a couple of interviews to straighten out some things, but sanctions will be on the way. So it's only a matter of time before, those get revealed, really.
Well, good stuff as always here by Alex Winley. Check out her work, MLS Multiplex and World Football Index. Thank you so much, and I think we're all going to have a great time here at the stadium on Saturday, so I look forward to it, and enjoy the game coming up this week.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
Excellent. Really good stuff as always. Hey, if you want to text us here on Onside Radio, 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Well, I just opened up the text line, and wow, people they're still writing in about Adam Gase. I guess there's an obsession here. I don't even know what's going on that front. I do want to talk a little bit more Miami Dolphins coming up. We'll take you up until 6 o'clock here tonight on Onside Radio. You got Game 2 between the Heat and Bucks tonight, a must-win Game 5 between the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning this evening, and it sounds like we're going to get the young man Spencer Knight in net this evening. Keep it locked here to Onside Radio. Hey, every day at Onside Radio, our hosts sit down at the round table to tackle the most important local or national sports headlines. The round table is podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnsideRadio.com is the home for South Florida sports.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can now watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio. Log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. Find out why Big O has a face for radio. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Take their famous Boot Tour Challenge, and there's now outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations or pickup at 954-785-7565. So get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach to Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up. for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Check this out. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, huge thanks again to Alex Winley for joining us. Thanks as well to Giancarlo Navas and George Richards from Florida Hockey Now. Got a lot of big stuff going on tonight. What kind of a question is this? Our guy Cap for Life in the YouTube chat says, Donno, you going to do fantasy football this year? Does a bear poop in the woods? Like, kind of a question. Of course I'm doing fantasy football this year. Now, if he's asking if we're going to do a show league, I think we should. I think we should do a show league. The only thing, though, about that is, look, if we do a show league and we invite listeners, which I think would be a lot of fun. I've done that for shows years ago. I had a couple of show leagues. The only thing is, I'll be real with you. I'll be honest. I'm very bad at organizing things. So if we do a show league, I'm going to have to appoint someone like Alex Aguirre or Nordy or Sean Stanley. Someone's got to organize it for me. Just tell me when to show up for the draft, and, you be the commish. Because if you guys count on me to be the commish, it's going to be like the Old West. There's going to be ridiculous trades happening. I'm not going to veto anything. I'm never going to post league updates. I'm not going to log in to the commissioner page more than like twice a season. If we're going to do this, if we're going to do a show league, we have a few months to prepare for this, right? Because, fantasy drafts are like 3 months away. So we have some time to prepare for this. I would love to do a show league. I'm just going to have to delegate the responsibilities of it to someone else because I've cut down on my fantasy and I've expanded my reality. Like I try to spend more time in the real world. I used to be that guy who in every league I'm in, and I used to do, no joke, 7 or 8 fantasy leagues per season. I used to do that many. I've cut it down to 1 or 2, right? I used to do 7 or 8 fantasy leagues per season, and I'd be that guy who's like waiting until the waiver wire like opens, on like, what is it, like Wednesday at midnight? Like I'd be sitting on the computer ready to put in my claims. Like the second it went open, I'm proposing trades. I'm no longer that guy. Like I'll log into the league. I'll log in a couple times a week. I'll log in on like Thursday, and I'll log in like Sunday to double check my lineups. Thursday before Thursday Night Football and Sunday before the day games. So yeah, if we're gonna do a show league, and by the way, I would love to know who's interested. If you're chiming in on the text line 844-416-8123, or you're in the live YouTube chat right now, let me know if you'd like to join a Man of the Match Show fantasy football league this coming season, because I'd love to do it. I think a community with listeners would be a lot of fun. We might even do something crazy like a 14-team league. Have you guys ever done one of those before? I've done a 14-team league before. You've got to draft exceptionally well, and you've got to make some really good free agent moves because it's slim pickings if you're in a 14-team league. And I want to make it as big as possible to accommodate as many listeners as possible, right? Because if we do a 12-team league, this is like the college football playoff. Like the smaller the field is, the more people feel left out. So if we do like 14, we can let in a handful of listeners. We can have a lot of fun with it, okay? Oh, and by the way, I appreciate our guy, RC in the 305 in the chat, who says, hit that like button. That's right. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, smash that like button. He also asks, how's my brother Big O doing? I think Big O's doing great. I've been texting with him a lot. We as you guys imagine, we're mostly texting about crypto, like all hours of the day. He's showing me Polygon was up like 120% today. He's texted me about that. I'm texting him about my diamond hands because I'm not selling any of my crypto. So he seems to be a great spirit. We've been texting every day, and he actually came out and kudos to any of our listeners who came out to our Inter Miami watch party this past Saturday at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company in Pompano. We're out there for every road game. Every time Inter Miami play on the road, join us at Dangerous Minds in Pompano. We have a really good time out there. The craft beer, which is brewed on site, is delicious. And Big O came out. Like, he couldn't host with me because doctor's orders, he's not allowed to speak until like this Thursday or Friday. So he's not allowed to speak for another few days. So he came out to the watch party. And I will never forget, because this may be the only time ever I interact with Big O where he cannot speak. He is the most verbose human being I know, and on doctor's orders, he wasn't allowed to speak. I will never forget this day where I'm interacting with Orlando, who's like the most vocal human being on the planet. And he's doing sign language, he's whispering, he's writing notes on his phone, communicating however he can. It's such a trip. It's like a Twilight Zone episode. Do you ever see the Twilight Zone episode where Burgess Meredith, Mickey from Rocky, is in this episode? And like he's obsessed with only wanting to read his books, and he hates the fact that other people want to speak to him and distract him. All he wants to do is read his books. And then the apocalypse happens. He's the last man on Earth. There's not another. He's the only person alive on Earth. And then he realizes, oh, my God, there's the library. So he goes to the library. He's like, this is the best thing in the world. There's not another human being on the planet. I can read my books forever. And then he steps on his glasses. He's got very thick glasses. And then he realizes, oh, I just broke my glasses. I'm the last man on Earth. All I want to do is read books and die happy. I can't read now because I just stepped and broke my glasses. That's basically like, not having the ability to speak. All that dude wants to do is talk, be loud, exclaim things. That's all he wants to do, and he does not have that ability for a few more days. It is like Burgess Meredith in the Twilight Zone being the last man on Earth and not being able to speak or not being able to read. So that's crazy. By the way, Cap for Life writes in, Tito, I will squash your team, bro. Tito doesn't work with us anymore. I will invite him to the league, and I will invite Alex Aguirre into the league. Alex, I'm guessing you are, but are you a big fantasy football guy? Do you play every year? Do you want to be in the show league?
Yeah, I've played fantasy football the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah,
only the last 4 or 5 years?
I mean, I really wasn't into football.
Okay. Were you playing fantasy baseball before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantasy sports have been big in my life, but like mostly just basketball and baseball. But then recently I've gotten into football. I think when I towards the end of high school, and then when I started college, that's when I really started getting into fantasy football.
Dude, I've been playing fantasy football since the first year I played. We didn't use a website. Like, people were checking the box scores. Like the internet existed, but we didn't have like a website to host the team. So we would draft the teams manually, and then we'd have the commissioner would check the scores based on the stats, and he would have to calculate it himself. That was the first year I played. We didn't have a website to keep score for us. Then the second year I played, we used we had a fantasy league on Yahoo Sports. This was around 2000, 2001. So we actually used a website where we could draft players and stuff. But the crazy thing was, they didn't have live scoring. So it was the most annoying thing in the world. So you'd go through a weekend of fantasy, and the scores would just be 0-0 all through the weekend. You would have to kind of keep track in your head. Wait, no, I've got Peyton Manning. He threw 4 touchdowns today. He ran for 1.5 yards. How many points is that? He had a Tom Brady had a quarterback sneak of a touchdown. That's 6 points, where a touchdown pass is only 4 points. So you would do unofficial math based on the box score, and then the final score would appear on the website Tuesday morning at midnight. And then you would like check the score like, oh, my calculation was off by 4 points. I lost. I thought I won. So when I started playing fantasy, first year, we had to keep score by hand based on box scores. Second year, there was actually a website to do it from, but you didn't know what the actual score was until like the day after. It was, I don't know how we did it before. I don't know how society functioned before we had automatic scoring in fantasy football. Dark times. As much as I say I miss the 90s, because I miss Blockbuster Video a lot. Like, I'd love to go back to the 90s, but I don't think I could do early 90s. I think I could do late 90s, because late 90s at least, I don't think Google existed then, but at least you could go to, like, AOL.com and search for things. Because I'm stupid. Like, without the internet, I'm really stupid. Like, my parents are smart. My older sister's smart. She got a 1520 on her SAT. She got a PhD from Yale. She's very smart. She could actually know things without Google. I don't know anything before I Google it. Like, you ask me a question, I'm good at reading and retaining information, but I don't actually know anything. Like, you ask me a question, you know, I mean, there's some sports stuff I know, sure. But you ask me about, like, international relations and, like, you know, world leaders and politics, I don't know jack squat, but I Google very, very well. Early 90s, I would have been a complete fraud. Complete fraud. Oh, man. Kelvin Smith is in the YouTube chat. He says, I got a question about Alan Hearns and Albert Wilson. If they play well in camp, could we see Preston Williams cut and Lynn Bowden Jr. cut? Says, also, I'm down for a fantasy football league. I think at wide receiver, anybody on this team could be cut outside of, obviously, Jalen Waddle, Will Fuller, and Devontae Parker. I think anyone between Preston Williams, who's always hurt, you know, Lynn Bowden Jr., I think is a good guy to have on your roster for, you know, a number of reasons, special teams wise, but he's expendable. Preston Williams, who's always injured, is expendable. Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson are expendable. Now, obviously not all of them are going to get cut, but I think, to me, anybody not named Albert Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker could potentially be expendable this offseason, because obviously you have more wide receivers than you have spots. So, yeah, to answer your question, we could see any of those combinations. And I'm glad you're down for fantasy football. Rafa in Miami says, the only reason I would go back to the 90s is to get my hair back. Oh, me too. Me too. And I never had great hair. Like, I knew I was losing my hair from like 14 years old. I knew it wasn't going to be around for very long. So here was the positive attitude that I had. Like, as soon as it became very clear to me that I was experiencing a recession, the power alleys were starting to form in my teenage years, I looked at every day of my life that I had hair from that point forward. I'm living on borrowed time. Like, I look at it like I've got a finite number of years of hair left. I need to have, like, the best possible success in my social life before I become the bald guy. I need to live my life. You know, I need to live as though, like, I know the exact day it's over. And I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about the day that I lose all my hair. I need to live life to the fullest. And I did it, man. I did. I lived from age 18 to about 23. I was the envy of the world, man. I lived my life. I knew it was YOLO. It was YOLO. I knew that the hair could go at any moment. I was using the Rogaine for a while, and you know, it's not like a magic potion. It kind of worked for a bit, kind of held on to some scraps, but then I just came to realize I'm paying so much money for this goddamn Rogaine. Like, I'm not fooling anybody. Everybody knows I'm losing my hair. So I stopped using it at some point around like 24, 25, and then all the rest of it fell out after that. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. So that stuff actually worked. I didn't think it was doing much, but I was holding on to a few scraps because of that. And then I gave up, and then poof, it was all gone. It was all gone. Rosendo says, I would love to go back to the 90s to get back with the girl that got away. Is that the best decade? Real talk here, because I was born in the mid-'80s, but I don't remember the 80s a whole lot. I was born in 84, so, you know, by the time I was 6 years old, we were in the 90s. Most of my great memories were in the 1990s, right? From, Blockbuster, being able to go through an airport with virtually no security. Because, for those who are old enough to remember, that all changed with 9/11. Like, if you're old enough to remember going through an airport before September of 2001, it was a breeze. It was a breeze. You could actually, and you'll see this like on some old sitcoms. Like if you're ever watching like an episode of like Friends or Seinfeld, you're like, wait, so they're picking somebody up at the airport and they can walk right into the terminal and greet you right when you get off the plane. Like that doesn't happen. Bro, in the 90s, it happened. But before they beefed up airport security, before 9/11, you used to be able to basically walk around anywhere in the airport you wanted to without a ticket. Like they didn't check your ticket until right before you got on the plane. It was a whole different time, man. What else do we miss from the 90s? What else was great? Oh, do you ever go like roller skating, roller rinks? Maybe a few of those still exist for nostalgia, but man, we used to have like the kids' birthday parties. I grew up down in like southern Dade, and we used to go to Hot Wheels in Kendall for all the birthday parties. That was lit. And like when you're in like a big class, it's somebody's birthday like every 3 weeks. So every three Saturdays we're back at Hot Wheels. It was crazy. Like people were having birthdays all over the place. So yeah, some people remember the 80s as well. Ray says, I miss the 80s music-wise. Oh, 80s music is the best, man. Like even though like, the 80s only lasted until I was like 6, I don't have a whole lot of memories of like living it with the music, but when it comes to going back and listening to 80s music, it is some of the absolute best. I love freestyle music back then, said Rafa in Miami. Rosendo also says, I was playing Spin the Bottle, Donno, while you were wearing your Pampers. Do kids still play Spin the Bottle? Or that's like, I mean, now if you're going to like kiss another kid, you need like consent forms and like a lawyer these days. Like, hey, can you play Spin the Bottle? I feel like it's going to get you sued, right? If you're like a fourth grader playing Spin the Bottle, the next thing you know, you need to lawyer up because you may have assaulted somebody. I don't know if kids can do that these days. Spin the Bottle, like the world has changed so much, man. All right, we'll continue the 5 o'clock hour here. 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. So everybody is all over this Julio Jones story. Again, I don't think he's going to end up being a Miami Dolphin, but here's what it could cost to attain his services. We'll get to that and more when we come back. Hey, start your morning every day at 8 a.m. with Toasted Sports. Toast covers all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight. Download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Toasted Sports, 8 to 10 a.m. only at OnSideRadio.com.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnSideRadio.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Get the brutal honesty every day with the Onside Zone with a big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on your home for sports talk in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
Over the weekend, the Florida Panthers lost to the Lightning 6-2. The Panthers are now on the brink of elimination tonight, and with both goalies struggling, who will Coach Q place in net? Game 5 is tonight, and puck drops at 8 p.m. Miami Heat lost 109-107 on a late overtime field goal by Chris Middleton on Saturday to go down 1-0 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Goran Dragic led the Heat offensively with 25 points. Game 2 tips off tonight at 7:30. The Miami Marlins won the weekend series with the Mets after a 5-1 win yesterday. Cody Poteet got the win after pitching 7 shutout innings. The Marlins welcomed the Phillies to Lone Depot Park for a 4-game series. Trevor Rogers is on the mound for your Fish. First pitch is at 7:10. Inter Miami CF lost to the Chicago Fire FC 1-0 on Saturday. And next Saturday, they welcomed the DC United in a full-capacity crowd to Dry Pink Stadium for an 8 p.m. start. You're listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station. And coming up is more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here at OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
When you're tired of watching the sun damage your furniture or raise your electric bill, it's time to do what we did here at OnSideRadio.com studio. Call a Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise. A Shade Above Window Fashions has a great selection of blackout shades to choose from. We can almost create a complete blackout for your bedroom or media room. Call them at 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashion.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can stand, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can stand, so can you. Find a cute.
Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
I don't know why anyone would be surprised that Aaron Rodgers didn't report for OTAs with the Green Bay Packers. And no, he didn't skip it because the NFLPA recommended their players skip it because, you know, they're trying to leverage the owners. That's not why Aaron Rodgers skipped it. He skipped it because he's got no interest in being a Packer. So I'm not surprised he's skipping OTAs, that he didn't report. I am kind of interested, though, to actually see what he was doing instead of OTAs. So I'm looking at this Instagram video. This is super awkward stuff, but it looks like he's having the time of his life. So Aaron Rodgers skipping Packers OTAs. You want to know where he is? Did you see this, Alex? This guy, he is living his best life. So he's in Hawaii, and he's I guess he's on like one of these power couple vacations, because you know it's not enough just to be dating a famous actress. Like, you also have to be, like, going on these power getaways with other famous people. Like, Aaron's in that world now. I'm sure he was doing stuff like this when he was with Olivia Munn. And who else has he been with? Danica Patrick. This guy's living the bachelor life here, Aaron Rodgers. So he skips Packers OTAs, and I'm watching videos of him doing karaoke in Hawaii with his girlfriend, fiance, I think now, Shailene Woodley, who is like, what is she famous for? Like, she was in like the Walmart Hunger Games movies. Like she like the bootleg like she was in those what do they call those? Like Divergent, Insurgent, Convergent. Like, she was in those movies, Shailene Woodley. My wife loves those movies. She took me to see one of those. I fell asleep. Like, it was painfully bad. And like I love movies about dystopian futures because we're kind of getting to that like in real life. So I love movies about dystopian futures. But when the movie is obviously made for a 13-year-old girl and not for a grown man, you lose me a little bit. And that's what those insurgent movies or whatever were about. So coma-inducing stuff, right? She was also in, God, I'm embarrassed to admit this because this movie made me cry. Alex, did you ever see the movie The Fault in Our Stars? Dear God, like as soon as you make a movie about like teenagers who have cancer, I freaking cry the entire movie. Like it was ridiculous. And then it ended up being that the dude in the movie had it worse than she had it. I was like, oh my God, I felt so bad for that kid. They go to Amsterdam together. They're having a great time. And then oh my God, that was heart-wrenching stuff. You know what? Maybe what happened was Aaron Rodgers watched The Fault in Our Stars. Actually, that would have been kind of creepy, though, because I think she was probably 17 when she made that film. So I was going to say maybe he watched that movie and fell in love with her, but I don't know, it's a little weird. I don't know if she was of age when she made that film. But in any case, he's all head over heels for Shailene Woodley, who's in the knockoff Hunger Games movies. And so he's doing karaoke with Miles Teller, and I didn't know who this person was. Kaylee Sperry. I guess she's a supermodel, and she's Miles Teller's either girlfriend or wife. Wow. He outkicked his coverage, I'll tell you that. So Aaron is vacationing together with Miles Teller and Kaylee Sperry, and they're just living that life. You know, honestly, yeah, I know that a part of me thinks Aaron has so much great football left in him. Like, why would he retire at this point? But it's not a bad life, right? Like, if you can get the Jeopardy gig, and I think they'd be happy to have him permanently because he's going to produce ratings every single episode, right? I mean, he's no Alex Trebek, but he's kind of more famous than Alex Trebek. I mean, Alex Trebek was famous for Jeopardy. Aaron Rodgers is just famous. So they would do pretty well to get a guy like Aaron Rodgers. You can make $10 million a year doing Jeopardy. And then you can just live the jet-set life with the bootleg Hunger Games girl, and you can hang out with people like Miles Teller and that Kaylee Sperry. You could do a lot worse than hanging out with those people. That actually might be the life, man. Mike No Go Zones writes, if I was Aaron Rodgers, I would have a nice roster of chicks at my disposal. He's doing very well for himself, man. I mean, honestly, I still think that the pinnacle of his resume was Olivia Munn. I don't think he could do much better than that, period. But listen, he's doing all right. And I think Mike No Go Zones would do pretty well for himself also. Yeah, I think he does pretty well for himself despite the fact that he's not as famous as Aaron Rodgers. So there you go, man. He's doing very, very well doing karaoke. I've never been a big Miles Teller fan. I think he comes off as kind of a douche, but whatever, man. Maybe he's better in real life than he is in the movies. So Julio Jones. Can we play the soundbite again, Alex, from Julio Jones this morning? He was on what is that show called with The Undisputed. He was on The Undisputed on Fox Sports 1 with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. And it sounded like Shannon Sharp just called him out of the blue. I think it was staged. But Shannon Sharp, impromptu, calls up Julio Jones on his cell. And it was a pretty big news event because it confirmed Julio's not going to be back in the ATL. Listen to this.
We call? Okay, we are calling. We're calling.
You watching, Julio?
I really hope he answers here.
Julio, have the guts to pick up the phone.
What's happening?
Yeah.
All right.
Julio. Hold on. Let me put you on. Can you hear me?
I got you. This is your favorite uncle. What's going on, bro?
Man, nothing much. About to go meet up with my brother. What's happening with you?
Man, look. You want to go to the Cowboys, Julio? Or you want to stay in Atlanta?
Oh, man, nah, I'm out of there, man.
He's out of there. Are you going to? Ideally, where would you like to go?
Right now, I want to win.
Okay. Well, don't go to Dallas. If you go, you ain't winning in Dallas, Julio.
Man, listen, come on, man. You already know. I know.
Okay.
Can you remind him we're on television
Ask him why he wore the Dallas.
Listen. You know how people is, man, with all that going on with the picture?
Yeah.
And all that stuff like that.
Okay.
Man, I ain't never been on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's good enough. Yeah. Julio, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling me back. We on air, but I appreciate you calling me, dog.
Tell me. No. Again, if Julio Jones didn't know his voice was on national TV, that's shameful from Shannon Sharpe. Like, shameful, because you got this dude to talk very openly about not wanting to go, or about being done in Atlanta. I'm not going to say not wanting to go back, because, you know, it's more of a Falcons decision than a Julio Jones decision, because they're trying to save big-time money under the cap. But he even says, I'm out of there, and I want to win. And he throws a little shade at the Dallas Cowboys. That may not be something he wanted to go public. So if he really got caught by surprise for that, and Jones didn't know that he was on live TV, Shannon Sharpe owes him a huge apology and a gift basket, because that's unethical, and it's also illegal, by the way. You know, that call was happening for the state of California, where it is illegal there. I double-checked their laws. Like, I go the extra mile to be accurate for my audience, and it's a two-party consent state, California, that it is illegal to eavesdrop or record a conversation where one of the parties does not know that it's being heard by other people or being broadcast in this case. So it's a no-no what Shannon Sharpe did, unless it was a setup. It might have been a setup to make it sound impromptu. Radio shows, TV shows do that all the time. They try to pull the wool over your eyes. Have you ever watched like zany or listened to like zany morning shows on the radio? They do their prank call segments. They want to make you feel like they're really pranking somebody live on the air. It's either set up or it's pre-recorded, and then they get the consent of the person to air it. It's not as real as you think it is. So I hope that's what happened there. Cap for Life says, you can win in Miami. Just saying, Julio. No, Cap, I don't want Julio Jones. And I don't want, and it's nothing personal, but when you're talking about not needing receivers, the Miami Dolphins need to focus on running backs and pass rushers. We don't need receivers right now. Julio Jones is on the wrong side of 30. He's got a super rich contract, $23+ million against the cap next year, over $19 million the following 2 years after that, and he's going to cost you potentially high draft picks. This is not a move the Dolphins need to make, okay? I think teams that could be a destination for Julio Jones, I know this is going to make people angry, and this might be one of the reasons why some Dolphin fans want him. It's because you want to keep him away from the Patriots. I think the Patriots could be a spot for him. They may pull the trigger on this deal. The Indianapolis Colts, I think, are an option. The Baltimore Ravens, San Francisco 49ers. I think teams like that are where Julio Jones could end up. Makes no sense to come to the Dolphins. Like that's effort, money, commodities best spent elsewhere, okay? All right, when we come back, we're going to wrap up this episode of Man of the Match. We're going to have some crosstalk with our buddy Stephen D from Miami Sports Music for the Fans right here on Onside Radio. Hey, every day at Onside Radio, our hosts sit down at the round table to tackle the most important local or national sports headlines. The round table is podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnsideRadio.com is the home for South Florida sports.
The Man of the Match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnsideRadio.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Vandelux partner.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, I love the newest show here on Onside Radio. Week number 2 beginning for our guy Stephen D. Miami sports music for the fans. So, Steve, first thing I got to get your take on. I know that Julio Jones is making headlines today on live TV. He told Shannon Sharp he's out of Atlanta. He's going to get traded. But then I see Dolphin fans trying to ask for the Dolphins to trade for him. To me, this doesn't really make any sense because he's on the wrong side of 30. He's very expensive, and we don't need receivers right now. Are you with me on that, or can you sell me on the idea that the Dolphins should explore this?
All right, let me ask you a couple things. First of all, how are you doing? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing very well, man. I hope you are too.
I am. Number 2, okay. Is too much of anything a bad thing, right?
Probably trans fat.
Look, here's the reality, Alex. Competition breeds competition.
Yeah.
And if I can bring Julio in, and bring him in at a good number where it's not going to hurt the cap.
Yeah, it's got to be a good number. You're right about that.
Yeah, it's got to be a good number. I'm all for it. And here's another reality to it. He'd be a great guy for Jalen Waddle. And there's some other stuff, like, for example, if you could get off of Devontae Parker's cap hit, right? Let's say we put Devontae Parker in that deal. I'm not saying that that's what I would want to happen, but let's say we did. That's $12 million of dead cap money off the books. If we, that we wouldn't have to worry about for next year if he somehow blew it this year.
Yeah, I knew if anybody could talk me into this just a little bit, it was you. Continue, sir.
So that's one, right? And so I personally would love to see him. I think he would do great for our team. I think he would bring something else that we don't have. And here's the other thing: he's a perennial 1,500-yard catch. 7 to 10 touchdowns a year. And so you put him with Jalen Waddle, you put him with Will Fuller. If Albert Wilson stays, if Preston Wilson stays, or if even Parker stays, we have the number 1 wide receiving core in the NFL. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no argument. Nobody could argue with me with that at all.
Well said. Hey,
I would love to see him.
Awesome. What do you plan for the show tonight? I see you're going to give a lot of love to Inter Miami this evening.
I am, man. I'm super excited. So last week we did a lot of stuff for the Miami Dolphins and having a lot of Miami fans. Well, tonight I got my man Max Ramos from the Siege Supporters Club, And Max and I are going to, go through being a fan of Miami Inter CF and also just him, being a fan of soccer in America and how, it's been with the team here over the last few years. Because when we spoke on the phone about a week ago, he was telling me, look, man, when the team announced that they were coming here, I was already prepared to be a fan. And so I'm really excited to talk to Max. I think it's going to be a really good time tonight.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Have a great show, man. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
No problem, brother. See ya.
So we got Steven coming up, man. Hey, the fans support the teams. They buy the jerseys and the tickets, but they never get the love they deserve on sports radio. OnSideRadio.com changes that with Miami sports music for the fans. It is the show driven by Stephen D, representing Miami sports fans around the world. Tune in every night from 6 to 7 as Stephen and fans around the world drive the talk about your favorite South Florida sports teams. OnSideRadio.com is dedicated to the Miami sports fan.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, website, or Inter Miami Marketing, LLC. You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnSideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep. Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. Chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Hey, it's Toast. Last year when I had PGT custom windows and doors installed in my house by B&T Windows and Doors, I knew about the hurricane protection. What I didn't know? The silence. Oh my goodness, my house is so quiet now. One of those cars goes tearing down the street with the crazy loud muffler. Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. It's unbelievable. I didn't realize how noisy my house was beforehand. You've got to get PGT custom windows and doors installed in your pad today. Call B&T Windows and Doors, 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
When you're tired of watching the sun damage your furniture or raise your electric bill, it's time to do what we did here at OnSideRadio.com studio. Call a Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise. A Shade Above Window Fashions has a great selection of blackout shades to choose from. We can almost create a complete blackout for your bedroom or media room. Call them at 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashion.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Michael Christian.
With PlayStation 5's more widely available, Sony has just released a new pair of controllers that look absolutely beautiful. The 2 new controllers are Cosmic Red and Midnight Black. Now, you may be wondering, why didn't they release these controllers sooner? And I'm assuming that's because